Hi everyone. Waiting for guests to come on. Mm-hmm. How is everyone? Is everyone alright? What they doing? Who there? No. Hi. How's everyone? How are you? No. Anyone there? Anyone want to come on? Hi. How's your day today? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hi. Can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me? How's your day today, everyone? Today's Tuesday, 28th, November 2023. Does anyone want to come on? Mm-hmm. Here's video by Did anyone like that? Hi, Claude.
Ella,
How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, good to
I'm
be
glad you're
on.
back.
Yes.
Yeah, is it true you're working for the overlords?
Um, well, they needed someone with balls, so
Oh, what do you think of this? I heard Ryan talk about this before. When he was a kid, he walked around did this thing with the statue, and the statue's eyes start glowing at him. You think it was a
Mm.
demonic statue. Have you
Oh,
seen that
really?
video?
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah. What would you do if you saw that?
Well, I'd probably just stride forth and be strong in the balls. Yeah.
Uh, Steven said he would take on with his oil.
Mm. Yes, I think so. So, is Big Bad Mama coming on, or maybe
I sent.
because? Mm.
Oh, sorry. I sent him a link.
And
Miss
because
Mud. Oh,
we're
sorry.
just talking on Mod, yeah, is Missing Mod going to come?
Yeah, she said she will.
Hmm.
I sent a
Okay,
link to everyone. But
that's
what
good.
what bothers you the most about Kent Hovind?
What worries me the most, what worries me, that bothers me the most,
Yeah.
is that well, his whole life, I think, is fake because, first of all, he don't have the brain to get a real degree. So he thinks, okay, I will go and buy one from this Patriot Bible University, and that's known as a diploma mill, which means you just pay the money, you get the degree. It doesn't matter what you do, what amount of rubbish you put up, you get the degree. So that's what he did. But he wasn't happy with just one PhD. He bought three,
Oh,
and then he got one honorary. So I say he buy three, get one free.
oh,
And
I did
yeah,
a video of you called Preacher Claude, where you hold up signs that can't go to prison.
yes. Well, I mean, what I can say, I don't care if he's in prison or not now, but he went to prison for what he did was true. He did uh, engage in tax crime, and he got caught, so he paid the price. If he was a bit more humble about it and not such an ass, he wouldn't have perhaps got very long sentence at all. But everything he did all the way through. Often when people are caught doing something bad, they then they say, "Okay, fair enough, I did it," and get on with it. But no, he wouldn't do that. So that's the start of my dislike for him. And then when I hear what he says about science, and he calls evolution a religion, it's not a religion. The definition of there has to be a difference, between a religion and a science. They can't all be the same, and they're not the same. There's two different
What
things.
What if you are religion?
Well, the only person I want to worship me is not here at the moment, but she might come on later.
Oh, uh, did you have fun? Did you ever run into Mark Rainey?
Yeah, I listened to him, and it was interesting. And I, you know, obviously he fell out with the Kent and everything. And uh, yes, I don't know. The trouble is knowing who is telling the truth is very difficult. But when they're at Dinosaur Adventure Land, they're not always the brightest people there. Eventually, the brightest ones leave because they see the truth. So obviously, Mark Stoney, he learnt the truth about Ken. He's a very clever person and a good
Yeah.
person.
He did
Uh,
tire a big singjig going African.
yeah. But a lot of the people there, maybe not so bright, and because of that, can't take advantage of them. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh,
Um, yeah, so that's why, if he's just stuck to religion, that's fine. I don't care. People can have their beliefs, but when he tries and contradict real science, and that's where I get upset with him. So,
Super Predators here.
oh,
What's real science, Claude?
Oh no.
oh my goodness. um, I regard it as the accepted body of work of people who have done the actual real study and have proven themselves in their field of study. That's what I regard real science as. I don't think it's easy to say what the opposite is, and Mr. Owen is the opposite of it. Just his stories and folksy sort of stuff. It's not real science. For making a paper airplane, shooting a rubber band doesn't make you an expert in science. That's how I feel. I know we probably
Well,
just
I mean, you can say he's not a scientist, but I
he's
don't
not.
think that he claims to be a scientist.
Well, he
And
claims.
the bigger principle behind those things that you keep pointing out are that there's a lesson, right? There's a life lesson that could be illustrated from these platitudes that you call non-science.
Yeah. Well, possibly, but I don't accept that life lesson from him. I think he is. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, I don't think he's a good person. That's the problem. I think you take advantage of people there. But I know we're going to disagree on that.
I don't know, man. I find your obsession oddly strange.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I have become focused on him, but it's because I see his programs and I see people fall for it and give him money, and I think, oh, that's a bit sad. And then when he says he was a science teacher, well, we know that's not true. You can't be a science teacher when you don't have any science qualification. Otherwise I could say I'm a brain surgeon,
Well,
and I'm not.
hold on a second there. Hold on a second there, Claude, because if we were to go back to my fourth grade science teacher,
Yeah,
I think you might have a few questions about his credentials.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, what passes for a science teacher today and what passes for a science teacher back then? I don't know, man. I think you're kind of arbitrary. I mean,
I probably am.
what is it that you have against him? Is it just that you don't want to see him succeed?
No, well, no, I suppose that's a difficult one. When he succeeds and takes advantage of people, then I do get upset about it. I don't think he succeeds anyway. And like, if his goal is to win souls or whatever the term is, I think he loses them, because yeah, I think the people that he might convert temporarily, they've probably been converted before, and they don't last very long. But that's the thing, and probably um, uh, goodness, there's so many things. That I find, when he, for example, he says evolution is a religion. Well, that's just not the case. It's a it is a science. Now, whether you accept it's true or not, that's one other thing. But to say it's religion requires a God, and Christianity, of course, is a religion, and that's fine. But evolution does not require a God. So he manipulates the definition of evolution. And of religion, or should I say? So I don't like that. Yeah. Mm. But it's yeah.
Claude,
Yes.
uh, have you how's your day been?
Oh, it's okay for me because I've just been away, so I'm getting back to
Uh,
normal life instead of being on holiday, and it was good to start and listen to the missing mod and everybody. That was good start to the day for me because
uh,
it's early here now. It's not late.
yeah, that's good. How are you been, Dustin?
Oh, I'm good. Just been chilling.
Sure.
I've been working.
Uh, uh, you worked as a roofer.
I used to.
Oh, are you now part of the Navy village people thing?
No, no, I'm
Oh,
flagging right now.
because remember that time Stump did he put you part of the
Yeah, I remember.
That's where I got
He
that from. Yeah,
he was making fun of my orange hard hat.
yeah. I even asked Lupin if he was part of it because he had the same. It kind of he had a hard hat on too.
Freaking looping. Yeah.
But how did you hear of Kent Hova?
Well, Ken Hoven's pretty popular on YouTube. I just happened to come across him.
Oh,
And I don't know, man. I see a lot of people gaining up on the man, and in all honesty, I don't see what bad he's bringing to any table. Like I've heard a couple of complaints, right? But I haven't seen anything like substantial.
oh,
Hey everybody, how's it going? It's me, see now and no. I'm done with everybody in this community and I'm done with all the drama, but yeah, I'm gonna go back on the show with Aiden as my background because I just don't care, honestly. I don't care about them or what they have to say or anything like that, which is why I'm still hanging around. How's it going, Dustin? I'm here to divert the topic from what it was supposed to be.
I know who you're. Yeah, you're pretty on point there, buddy. That's pretty succinct, I must say.
Well, I mean, I just don't care, man. I don't even care about like any of this at all, which is why I'm gonna say that I'm leaving like 10 times and then not actually go anywhere. It's really hard for me to actually be consistent with the things that I say versus what I do. So, you know, it is what it is, man. Reality could be whatever I want it to be.
Man, it sucks when you try female tactics, but you have a set of balls. It doesn't work that way.
Fireball? Oh,
Huh?
Yeah, probably should have had like more than like 3 seconds ahead of like more than 3 feet in front of my nose of foresight to realize that I go back on the fact that I don't care and that I'd inevitably get dragged back into this. Like, Probably should have known that before I did a 2 hour long stream talking about how I was done with all this, but whatever, man. It's not like that really matters.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. The whole reason that we got into a fight in the first place was because people taking liberties with response videos and telling other people that they can't do the same. This
Yeah,
whole
but it's
drama,
different when I do it. It's different when I
right?
do it, though, Dustin. Okay, when I do a drama video talking about somebody, and when I skip over the part where I prove that I don't know what cognitive dissonance is, because even I recognize that it makes me look horrible. I mean, like, that, it doesn't actually mean that it's drama. It's something Holy Spirit.
You know, I realize that you're bashing. This is pretty perverse, man. Okay, like I kind of have to say something in his defense, but stop
What, in my defense? It's me.
pigeonholing
It's
me.
Lupin. It's me. It's Lupin right now. What are you
I know
talking
who
about?
it is. I know who it is. I can't go that far.
You're making me break character, Dustin.
I'm
Alright, I don't
trying to
appreciate it.
because you gotta stop. That's not fair. The
No!
man's not here to defend
No!
himself.
I don't care. He can show up. He's not like the door's closed to him. He can show up and defend him. I
Now
know
you're
for
just
a fact
trying
that
to.
he's watching. I know for a
Now you're
fact
just
that he's
trying to pick
watching,
a
so he can show
fight.
up.
Now you're just
Maybe.
trying to start
Maybe
a
a little
fight.
bit. Maybe a little. I'm bored. What do you want from me, okay? I've got like 5 hours until I've got to work, and I've got nothing better to do with my time. What do you want from me?
Okay. I mean, you choose your time how you want to. I'm just pointing it out.
Hey, at least I, unlike certain other people, am actually honest with my intentions. Like, I don't say that I'm here just for good intentions and then start a bunch of drama. You know,
Sorry.
like a certain other person that we might
sorry.
know.
You are
Oh,
very
sorry, I
correct.
actually named names. Lupin,
I
sorry.
can't.
Yeah.
I can't deny what you're saying is true. He does do this. That does not mean a little bit of hazing is okay. Just keep it below the belt, okay? Or, I mean above the belt,
I'll keep it below the belt. Don't worry. I'll keep it well below the
whichever.
belt. I'm
As long as
joking.
you don't cross the belt, okay? If you're gonna start below the belt, stay down there.
All right.
Big
No,
Bad
I get
Mama.
what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Hi, Big Bad Mama.
Hi,
Can you do
everybody.
your Aiden? Can you do your Aiden impression again for Dustin?
Hi, I'm Aiden. Everything relates to the Roman Empire, and I think that Julius Caesar was just like Donald Trump.
Trump has make Rome America again.
Oh, and
Right.
everything from witchcraft.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh
Make
my goodness.
America Rome again.
There you go. Hey
Sorry.
everybody, how's it going? It's Big Bad Mama here. I just want to say that Trump is just like Hitler because Trump lowered taxes on corporations and so did Hitler. So that makes them the exact same person.
Todd, are you still there?
Whose noise? Somebody's like really noisy.
Aiden.
That's me. I'm a nuisance. I'm sorry. I'm in public. I'll try to mute whenever I'm not talking.
Ever heard of the mute button?
The mutant mutton? I've not heard of the mutant mutton. Although I imagine that killing it is just as cool as killing every other animal that produces mutton.
Todd, are you there?
Kill people on this train.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, Big Bad Mama. How
Yeah.
did you hear of Kent Holvine?
How did what?
You hear of Kent Holvine?
Oh gosh, I've heard about Kent since probably the 90s.
Wow.
I'm not sure where I first heard about him, but it's been a long time.
Claude, when did you hear of Kent?
Maybe only probably about 10 years ago. Yeah, about 10 years. Yeah, but once he got out of the prison, then I heard about him more because there was all the dramas and going back to the house and meeting Jim Bob Duggar in the car and all that sort of thing, and then being not allowed to sleep in the bedroom, and so then it became more public. And then when he found someone gave him the land for Dino Land, yeah, then he started making the. But I didn't read back about him in the old days, when he was apart from YouTube help, because it shows all those videos about when he's beating Eric up at the dentist and all those horrible things, Yeah.
He beat up Eric Hova at the dentist. They got in a fight or something.
No.
Oh,
His son was scared when he was age 7, going to the dentist, and he wouldn't sit still. And Kent took him out the van and gave him a big beating. It's all on YouTube, and you can see it. It's horrible. And I began to take a dislike to him after that. Yeah.
wow, there's a lot of snow out there. Oh, yeah, yeah. I seen his first video back on YouTube. It was crazy.
Well, Logan, when you look at the other side of the equation, and I don't really know why I'd say the other side of the equation, because both sides of an equation are the exact same. That's what makes it an equation. But when you look at the other side of the equation, you'll actually find that you didn't find Kent's first video. Kent found you. All right, that's the difference.
What do you think, Dustin?
I think that two sides of an equation has to have both sides of willing participants in order for the equation to equal out. Therefore, one side can have more variables than the other.
Is that true, Big Bad Mama?
That's a good point.
What do you think, Brother Balls? Yeah, I seen that one guy called you that, Claude. So that's one of the name of the videos. Have you as a preacher man? Son of a preacher man.
Hey, Dustin, are you there?
Yes. Yeah, I'm here.
I want to have a discussion with you one day, and maybe you could do a little research on it before we talk about it, about the Mid-Atlantic Ridge.
The one where they put out the first cable.
No, so this is the volcanic ridge that goes down the length of the Atlantic Ocean from where the plates split apart. Iceland lays right on the ridge, and that's why there's so much volcanism there that it actually made an island. But it's a volcanic ridge called a spreading center. But it's really important in terms of geology, and I think also in terms of debunking a creationist timeline. So maybe we could talk about that next time if you get a chance to look into it.
Oh, would you guys like to have set up a discussion thing where I could host and
because
you talk to?
We could actually, because I have some questions about carbon-14. If you're gonna tell me,
okay.
Yeah, no, I got a return for that. Don't even worry. I think I know where you're going.
Okay, well, we'll talk about. I'll write that down, and we'll talk about both those things. Just in like one of either on your show or Logan's show or wherever. We'll have a discussion about it. Cool.
I have a question for you related to carbon-14, and I just have a question, and then you can answer and we can move on. I don't want to keep expounding on it if you guys are going to get into a wider discussion about it later, but I have one question for you about carbon-14, if that's okay, Dustin.
Go ahead and ask.
All right. Do you think that carbon-14 has a consistent decay rate?
No, it doesn't have a consistent decay rate. It depends on the amount, and it depends on atmospheric conditions.
Okay, we'll move on from there. Don't everybody go at once.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think, Claude?
Well, I know that they try and do the radio dating, that the young Earth creationists, to try and make it look as though the Earth is young. Look, it's not. The science is settled. You can find all these red herrings you like, but people know that the Earth is billions of years old. It's scientific. It's a fact. Big Bad Mama will know from geology. So just a waste of time trying to pick holes in some little errors here and there in the radio carbon dating, and they'll always pick some example. When you look, Potholer Channel is very good for this. He picks holes in all these skeptics about the radiocarbon dating. So I don't know enough about it, but Big Bad Mama, maybe you can tell us.
Well, the one thing that I see that they've done that hasn't been honest was to collect samples from recent flows of Mount St. Helens. And I think they did potassium argon dating, and they expected to get, you wouldn't, for one thing, you wouldn't date a new rock like that because you wouldn't have had any daughter product that, had accumulated. But the other thing is the lab techniques that they used, or the labs that they used, were not appropriate, and also the collection techniques that they used. So they got all these dates that were different, maybe, some millions of years, others more recent. But they used that then to try to debunk all of radiometric dating. And it's been debunked what they did in terms of collecting those samples inappropriately from Mount St. Helens. So that's one thing I'll say about that, because they always do bring up the Mount St. Helens dating that they did.
I
Yeah,
mean,
the only thing I'd say though.
are we just
Go
going to
ahead,
dive
Dustin.
into this, or?
No, I don't want to dive into it.
Okay.
Let's wait.
All right, fine. I'll hold the dogs back then on my question. We'll save it for another time.
Yeah, it would be good on here. I'm a neutral thingamajiggy. You could both talk about it.
Sounds good, Logan.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you, Dustin. Do you got that dog in you?
What was that?
I guess he does not in fact have that dog in him. All right, that's fine. He doesn't have the determination to face the truth. That's all right.
Aiden, it sounds like you're in a subway.
Yeah,
No, I'm in a train.
yeah, I saw that. He showed the outside of the train.
Oh,
Big Bad
did,
Mama.
yeah.
yeah.
Big Bad Mama. On an unrelated note, well, sort of related, but not completely related. Do you have an explanation for why cats show up in the tree of life without any actual connection to anything? It's just kind of sudden and appears that way.
Cats?
Yeah, cats don't have any particular common ancestor from which they are supposedly evolved from. They just show up in the tree and it's completely formed.
Well, let me look into it. I mean, of course, house cats were created through artificial selection. And there's all sorts of wild cats out there that are not unlike house cats, like the sand cat of northern Africa, or there's also wild cats in Europe and in Asia. So the house cat just didn't show up out of nowhere. I mean, the Egyptians used wild cats.
The cat kind. Like
the cat kind.
there's
Okay.
no like ancestor, right? That's related to the cat and say something else. You go back, you can't find where the T is.
Okay, let me check it out, and I'll get back to you.
Copy that.
Yeah, I would definitely have to look into that claim that it didn't come from anything whatsoever because, I mean, like, if you're talking about morphological differences, yeah, there's definitely instances, evolutionarily speaking, where huge morphological changes take place in order to facilitate different niches. Like, um, I
And
would
it's
honestly say
important to
that.
mention. It's important to mention that the genes have not changed between a house cat and a lion. The numbers are the same, and a lot of the sequences are the same.
Well, a lot of the sequences are the same, but there is still change there. The number of them has not changed. That's right. I mean, the number of genome, like chromosomal connections within DNA is extremely important and able to maintain genetic integrity, but the actual information held within those genes has indeed changed. It hasn't changed substantially, I agree. Like, we're talking about a fraction of a percentile of change, but there is still
Whatever.
a change observed nonetheless. Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Now we have
Whatever.
the professional malarkey artist has arrived on the scene. Yeah, let's just bloviate a little harder, why don't you? Just make it more of an embarrassment of yourself
Y'all just
somehow
need
than
to
you already
listen to
do
some
by
old day.
yourself. Have you been listening all day? I pity you. I truly do. Why are you listening to this all day? Have your children been listening to this nonsense?
Sorry, I have Canadian internet right now.
I hope your children haven't been listening to this nonsense. Yeah, you're right. The city that I've been filming while I've been on this train, it's just nothing but utter ruins. You're right. It actually
Oh,
kind of looks more like if you're playing a Fallout game than if you were just in like an inhabited place with people. None of you played any of the Fallout games, have you? Yeah.
he disappeared.
Oh, he left. He pulled a Lupin. He just showed up to troll for like 30 seconds, and then he's like, "Oh, I gotta go!" All of a sudden, inexplicably.
For the
Damn you,
Congo.
Canada!
Hey, you're living pretty close to Canada. I'd watch what I say.
Do I live pretty close to Canada?
Yeah, but you live pretty close to the bad side of Canada.
Oh. What is the good side of Canada?
Well, there's two good sides. There's the Maritimes. So there's the Maritimes that are on like the very eastern end of the country. Those are good. Those are cool. But then you have Quebec and Ontario, and that's basically like just nuclear
Stripper
waste
City.
as far as
That's
I'm
Stripper
concerned.
City, bro. That's all that
Yeah,
is. If you're going there,
but
you're going to a strip club. That's the only reason.
is that the American conception of Ontario and Quebec? That's pretty funny.
Absolutely.
What do you
Is
guys?
boot scooters and hoot shooters.
What about Alberta? What do you guys think about Alberta?
Where Claude go?
I haven't heard about Alberta.
Wow, I'm actually offended by what you just said.
Where did Claude go? What did you do
Uh,
with him, Big Bad Mama?
well, you're not allowed to talk about what they did, all right? Logan, we talked to you before the show that you weren't allowed to talk about those particular details, so.
I'm not sure where Claude went.
Oh. But
Okay, you read the script. Good, big bad mama.
Dustin is run by the Overlord.
Technically, I am right now. My lord is over me. So, yeah, I'm being ran by an overlord.
Yeah, what do you think of that clip, Big Bad Mama? They said that scientists are doing what the Overlord said.
Well, that was that kid Jeremiah said that, and it was just so ridiculous that the scientists and he couldn't even say who the overlords were, but it's just this great big conspiracy that somehow reaches into every learning institution in the world.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. It's never anything that they can define.
Yeah,
I mean, Occam's razor is the
Well,
arch enemy of every conspiracy theorist, though, big bad mama. Like, Occam's razor never supports a single conspiracy theory because it always has to be something that's more complex than it seems, and it always has to be a ruse that's pulled over people. So, it really, it's just tapping into the paranoid part of our brains, that part of our brains that is really there to look out for predators when we were hunter-gatherers and make sure that we're safe as far as not being hunted down. That part of us is being tapped into when we talk about these conspiracy theories and how there's this horrible shadowy organization that's presiding over all of us. So.
Aiden, doesn't mean
Right,
everyone's
because I
not.
can think of no time in history where a group of rich and powerful people got together and said, what we're doing is for your own good. Right, right.
Well,
Yeah, but
there are
they were always.
conspiracies that are true, but a conspiracy against creationism doesn't make any sense. There's nothing to be gained for people by doing that. And I think that's specifically what we're talking about is there's some sort of a global conspiracy that supports evolution against creationism. I mean, it's not that there are rich people that, yes, there are conspiracies that are true, but that's not one of them.
So, so, so what you're telling me is that there's no jealousy between the countries. One country sees this religion and they have this kind of prosperity, and another country has that religion and has a different level of prosperity. There's nothing to that where one country sees advantage by maligning another country and picking their religion as a point of attack. That could never happen, right?
No, I agree with you about that. I'm just saying from what creationists are saying is that there's a conspiracy by quote unquote evolutionists against creationism in general, and that it's a worldwide conspiracy. It transcends borders of countries. And for
Now
some reason, yeah.
Right there, I draw the line there. Okay, yes, I agree. That is a little batty. But there are smaller contingent plans of people that are affiliated with these people that have what do you call it? It's like a social interest in having financial outcome. Okay, because if certain people will support this idea over that idea, they're more in line to invest in your company.
Okay, I understand that. I just
So,
don't
I
think
mean,
that I just don't think that a control like that. Of course, there are grants and things in universities, but science in general doesn't come up with hypotheses and theories based on who's providing the money to a project. I mean, it has to be defended and peer reviewed, and there's a whole process that it goes through in order to see that that doesn't happen.
What? Big Bad Mama in North Korea. Oh, sorry.
Right. Exactly. That's what Ken Hovind relates it to. In North Korea, you can't diss communism because they'll kill you. And my retort to that is that this transcends any ideology or any boundary of a country. And that's why it's not a good comparison.
Well, what Kent also fails to realize when he says things like that. Hello?
I think somebody's roboting.
Oh, it's the STD demons.
Oh my goodness.
Aiden's at a playground.
No, I'm right over by one right now. Yeah, while I'm on my pathway. I'm going for my... I know, it's not my destination. I'd like to make that abundantly clear. All right, I'm on the river right now I'm going on my last scoot of the year before it gets too cold.
Yeah, you like to go on their swings and then go down the slide.
That does sound pretty
wow,
fun. You are starting to convince me. No, you are starting to convince me that this is a fun time. I might go play some grounders now. No, but what I was trying to say was that as far as North Korea is concerned, the point that Kent misses when he talks about North Korea is that North Korea was the product of a revolution too.
It's not like North Korea just exists in a vacuum and has always been there. It's actually a relatively recent state. And it exists in a paradigm of other states, in the context, rather, of a paradigm of hundreds of different states that came and went before it. And the same is true for science, all right? Like, is science an institution that will kill you, quote unquote, for not having the same ideas? No. That's obviously true in the fact that there have been huge scientific theories like, Hippocratic medicine and the form of medicine of humors and miasma and all sorts of different things that the royal societies of Europe used to believe were absolutely true, but then were supplanted. Like miasma was supplanted by germ theory, right? Like these are examples in science where there was a regime, so to speak, of ideas and thought, but that has since changed. It's not the same as it once was before. And if it was a totalitarian-esque regime, as Kent tries to describe it as, then there would be no opportunity for that to happen. There wouldn't be a situation where, we would still be adhering to miasma as the truth of medicine to this day. And that humors is the things that we need to keep in balance. So you need to keep your phlegm in balance with your sanguine humors and all that stuff. That'd still be being diagnosed today if we didn't have rigorous debates around these things, and evidence later came up and supplanted more what we thought was the truth, so to speak, through the process of the scientific method. So my issue is that the vast majority of human history has been dictated by science and religion being interchangeable with each other, primarily through philosophy and religion. Because when you look at older academic institutions surrounding the sciences, they used to be inherently tied with philosophical discussions, and philosophy at this point, as I'm sure Big Bad Mama knows, was inherently tied with theology. So the scientific method really wasn't able to get on its own 2 feet and express its own merits until it was unshackled from this presupposition of, well, we need to look at all of the world through the lens of the Bible. Then we can understand it scientifically. That's inherently not scientific because you're presupposing a profound amount of things before you actually examine anything. How is that scientific?
Aiden, what is Brother Pike talking about?
What's Brother Pike? I'm not actually looking at the screen. I'm on my scooter right now.
So Christian says, Aiden can invest in these hands. It's a great time to buy. Buy one, get one free.
Ha! Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I have the same offer up, Christian. So if you want to cross the border and take advantage, now's the time. Is it too windy, by the way? Is the wind absolutely horrible on your guys' end? Okay, if it gets too bad, then please let me know.
Okay. What do you think, Dustin?
Yeah, Dustin left, I think, didn't he? He evaporated. That's the last thing I saw before I got back on my scooter was that Mr. Buck decided to leave. He bucked around and he found out.
Be careful, Aiden. I don't want you to get hit or anything.
Oh no, I'm being safe. Guy. Don't worry. I'm being safe. As far as what you're saying, Christian, that's my response is buck around and find out.
Wow. I came right in on the right spot of that conversation.
What do you think, Big Bad Mama?
I thought of a good theme song for, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I thought of a good theme song for Dustin's show. Are you ready to hear it?
Yeah.
Buck around and find out Dustin Buck is coming to town. He'll kick you in the nuts. Yeah, Dustin ain't bucking around. Thank you.
That's a great song.
We need to drop a backbeat and have some Skrillex up in here.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah. When would you guys like to have that discussion?
I don't
Maybe
know.
next week.
Can we do it on a weekend? Is that possible?
It's up to Ghost.
Whatever you guys like.
I
What is
I can
what
do
is
it this
today?
Saturday. Today's
Today's Tuesday?
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Okay, Saturday we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Copy that.
Saturday the 1st.
I'm gonna be taking
talk
down
about-
notes, buddy. I got questions. I got because there's
we're
some
going to
mixing
concentrate
between the
on carbon.
layers. Well,
We're going to
no,
concentrate on
I don't
carbon
want to
14.
concentrate on carbon. I have a few questions on carbon, and then I have a few other questions on diamonds, and then I have a few other questions on granite.
Wait a minute. I want to talk about the Mid-Atlantic Ridge.
Yeah, there's granite. There's all those materials are in there.
It's volcanic mainly, but it's a bigger picture type of thing. But just give me one. I'm going to give you the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, and then you give me a topic.
Okay.
Don't gish
Let
gallop.
me see. I won't get gallop. No, these are all in the same line, right? Because these materials had to form in the same space at the same time.
Okay, so
right?
are you asking about why is there some carbon 14 in diamonds?
No, like that was gonna be one of the questions. And how are you gonna claim cross contamination when they do experiments for carbon 13 and carbon 14?
Okay, well I'll look into that, and you look into the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, and we'll talk about it.
Copy that.
Saturday, sometime.
Saturday sounds good to me.
Aiden, are you there?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay. Are you busy swinging
Not actually here.
and going on the
Yeah,
farm
I'm on the playground right now.
and then
I'm on the
making?
playground. Oh my God! There's a squirrel on the path. Get out of the way!
Well, be careful.
Not you. Just sorry, there's a squirrel.
Okay.
I think this person just thought that I was a little mentally handicapped. That's all right. Wouldn't be the first person.
Remember that other time? You got what happened? You got hurt, and Steven was mocking you.
Oh, he tried saying I faked that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tried saying that I faked that or something when I sent photos of what happened. It was a nasty crash.
Yeah. I'm glad you're all right.
Thank you, walking right down the middle of the pathway. That's a great spot.
Who accused you of faking that?
Oh yeah, Steven accused me of faking my
I remember
accident on my
that.
scooter
I
because
remember that.
he tried challenging me to something. It was like the only time that he ever actually challenged me directly to a debate. And I really wanted to go on and debate him, but I could not think straight after I got home from that crash. The only thing I was thinking of was, holy crap, am I ever in pain? So I told him on the chat, I said, hey man, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be able to come on. I hurt my knees, and kind of more focused on getting better from that than debating. And he tried saying that I was like ducking out or something, or making an excuse. It's one of the 10,000 claims that he's made about me that has since vanished into the ether, nowhere to be seen.
Yeah.
Was it about Noah's Ark?
Yeah, it was about Noah's Ark. I was going to debate him on. I still want to do that, but it's kind of like when he said that he was going to do an atheist week, and then that never ended up materializing. You know, it's never actually going to happen. He's going to talk about it, but it's never actually going to happen.
Freaking no, I think we can. Well, I'm gonna try to talk Steven into doing that because I think it needs to be done.
He just wants to endlessly sweep this under the rug and act like this just never happened. And it's never worked for him once, so I don't know why he's insisting on doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result.
People are creatures of habit.
It is what it is, honestly. I stopped watching them. The only time that I've really watched them ever is if Logan sends me a clip. So I've really stopped concerning myself with any of their content. They can do what they want. It is up to them. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you at the same time. If I get an invite back on there, I might consider joining just because I find the discussions, especially with Achilles. Achilles is the most interesting person on that panel, in my opinion. Like, I'm not saying that to be rude to Steven or Stump, but I know what Steven and Stump are going to say before they say it. They're extremely predictable in that aspect. And I think I've had every... Go ahead.
I agree with you as far as this concern. Sticks to a script. Well, that I don't know if that so much is true about Steven. Really?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I do think that Steven is a pretty predictable person in discourse and debate. His responses and he's almost, I'm not saying never, but he has very rarely surprised me in any kind of discourse. Achilles consistently surprises me with what he says. So I find discourse with Achilles.
Achilles is pretty smart, man.
Go ahead.
I have some issues with
he's
what he
pretty
believes,
intelligent.
but Achilles, he's got the education. He's backing some horsepower in that brain of his.
Yeah, the problem is that he got that education from people who he claims were liars. Like, he tries to claim that he's watched every documentary on YouTube, but he also says that he's got multiple scientific degrees, so that's not true. The basis of his knowledge of this stuff isn't documentaries he's watched on YouTube. It's the education that he went out to go and get. I don't doubt that he has scientific degrees. I just don't get why he says out of one side of his mouth, well, he mentions the scientific degrees to give him credibility, but then will turn right around and say that, well, those scientists were liars, though. It's like, then why are you bringing up the fact that you've got degrees?
Yeah, students in universities aren't watching YouTube videos. They're reading scientific papers.
Yeah, so I don't understand why he's almost tried rehabilitating his image and saying, well, all my knowledge came from YouTube documentaries. True, if you have degrees. That just cannot be true.
What about Dustin? He went to the Patriot Bible College University of being crazy, right? Dustin?
I didn't go to any college well, I went to college, but it wasn't for me. I mean, I don't learn from people. That's not how I learn. I learn from experience, and if I read something, I can comprehend it. That's how I learn. I don't learn from teachers. It's kind of redundant.
No, I hear you there, Dustin. I had an abortive attempt to go to university for a business degree, but really I wasn't doing the business degree for my own satisfaction. I was doing it to try and satisfy my parents and make them happy. And I just kind of came to realize that I was making myself incredibly miserable trying to force myself to do this regimen that I did not want to do about a subject that I was not interested in. So I've kind of figured now if I'm going to try and do the university route, I'm going to try and get a history degree because that's actually what I'm interested in. And hey, you know what? If it doesn't work out for the best, if I end up flipping burgers with a history degree, at least I know for a fact that I did everything I could to try and pursue what I wanted in life.
Yeah, but you're a genius. You get to go to college like Harvard or something, and then become a scientist that discovered the moon on Mars.
I like astronomy in a layman's context, but I could not be anything more than an amateur astronomer. I genuinely couldn't. I love the field just to study casually, but I feel like history is the field that I'd be much better acquainted actually getting familiar with on an academic level.
I asked Keeley on his show when he was talking about the flat Earth. I asked him, "What if the Earth is triangle?"
Nah, it's the donut Earth. It's got to be the donut Earth.
He said, "Come on, bring your evidence." What do you think?
Did he take it? Oh my gosh, he took it as seriously as when Claude called him Asilicles. Like, oh my gosh, man, get over
Dude,
it.
that was well below the belt, though, man. That was below the belt. Okay, come on,
Dude, that was like
bro.
that was an elementary level insult at worst. Come on, get over it,
Asilicles. What if I called you Analin?
dude. That's something I would expect. Dude, I've heard Gaiden and all sorts of different insults thrown at me since I was like in grade school, and it has not bothered me since grade
But
school.
you're Aiden.
So
I just, man, that was. I don't want to see Achilles get mad because his name's made. That's. He's a friend, bro. You say some shit like that, I got it.
I'm not the one calling him that. I'm not
I
the one
know.
calling him that.
I know, and I'm not saying that you, but you're laughing about it, you dick.
Of course I'm laughing about it. It's funny. Alright, it's funny. I'm not gonna lie to you about it. It's funny. I found it amusing. The same way that I find somebody calling me Gaiden amusing. Like, what else are you supposed to get out of that except enjoyment if you want to live a truly joyous
What is
life?
it? I
Like,
heard this before. What's a
I
gay
mean, I just wouldn't let anybody trash
seriously
you
though,
like
like you,
that, though, man. Like I couldn't sit back and let I couldn't
I mean,
call.
you kind of let Lupin say some stuff on that one stream. You
Well,
let him say a couple of
I
things. You
didn't.
let him get a barb or two in.
But then again, I don't have any room to talk over there. They won't let me say anything now. It's getting ridiculous.
I mean, like, are you surprised though? Like,
A
genuinely,
little
are you
bit,
surprised about that?
a little bit. I
Why?
didn't think Steve
You've
was
seen it
gonna like.
extended to other people.
Yeah, but I didn't.
Well,
Steven was telling me I was too, man. You give somebody the impression like that,
yeah, you know who else
like
he used to tell that to? He told that to Christian at one point too, Dustin, and I gave Christian the exact same warning. He told Chuck the same thing, and I told Chuck the exact same warning. Alright? Like, he's playing a character. He is. That's just the
Aiden?
truth of it. He does not actually care about you. He cares about what you have to bring to him.
Aiden.
That's why I told Missing Maud when she was getting distraught over Lupin not being friends with her anymore. I said, don't worry about it. If someone's friendship is conditional upon what you bring to them, then it isn't really a true friendship, is it?
Oh, Aiden.
you're kind of straddling the line there, but most relationships are built on that. It has to start there. There has to be a symbiotic relationship before there can be a personal one.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. It's not symbiosis. It's not what can we do for each other. It's what can you do for me.
Oh,
And that is very much so the embodiment of those relationships, and I think Christian would definitely agree with that.
Aiden. What? Steven?
Well, I shouldn't say definitely. You know what? I shouldn't say definitely as though I certainly know what's going on inside his head. I feel as though he would agree with that. I feel like is a more fair statement.
What if his real name is Stanley Kubrick? And
Stanley
yeah,
Kubrick.
that's just his real name, and
He faked the moon
yeah, and
landing.
his character is Stephen Bone.
I mean,
Like,
Stanley
that's
Kubrick was a
ridiculous.
truly brilliant director.
You know how they say the two shadows debunks the moon landing photos? What happens when the
Yeah.
Earth reflects light back on the moon? Isn't that a
Creates a
second
shadow.
source of light?
I mean, it's not a source of light, but it is indeed light coming from a different space. It's almost like a mirror providing two different shadows. It's not to say that the mirror is a source of light, but it's reflecting that light and causing there to be a second shadow where otherwise there would not be one.
What do you think about the thing about when they moved the flag? It was waving, I guess. It's like,
No,
What?
it didn't actually wave. The reason why it had the appearance that it waved was because they weren't able to fully extend the pole. There was a rod that was supposed to fully extend the flag, so it was just flat. but they weren't able to fully extend that. It actually broke, so they had to leave it how it was. Because let's be honest, which one is more embarrassing? A not fully extended flag or a flag that just totally broke and can't be displayed at all? So when you actually look at the flag, it's not flapping in the breeze. It just appears as though it is because it's not fully extended.
Matt Powell did a new video about JW trying to convert him.
I asked Achilles, I said, what is the point of NASA assembling the schematics and fully building the most complex machine in human history, still to this day? I would argue that the Saturn V rocket is the single most complex machine ever devised by humanity in its entire history. The schematics of it are still available for everybody to see.
I would
You
add
can read them
add a
online.
caveat to that: conceived and built, because there are more elaborate machines conceived.
Yeah, that have been conceived. Yeah, I agree with that. But yes, practically actually diagrammed and built out and shown to practically work in the real world, I'd say the Saturn V takes the cake for the most complex. So you're telling me that NASA came up with all of this, spent billions of dollars developing this rocket that's way, 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 way overkill for an ICBM. You don't need a rocket even a tenth as powerful as the Saturn V for an ICBM. Sorry, I'm going under a train, so just give me one moment.
You're cold,
Just give me
bro.
one sec.
Justin.
Alright, I'm over. Sorry, I'll just finish my point, Logan, and then you can go. You'd have to build that, you'd have to test it, you'd have to show it being launched at Cape Canaveral, not once, but on 6 separate occasions. You'd have to show it being launched, and all for nothing. There's nobody actually in the cockpit. There's no actual astronauts. It was just a huge, elaborate display just to pretend like they could go to the moon. Why? I mean, like, we can show in laboratory settings that the Saturn V rocket had the Delta V to get to the moon. So when I say Delta V, I mean it had the fuel and it had the capacity with that fuel to be able to reach the moon. Why would they do that not to send anybody there? Like, those are all things that we can prove categorically. And that's not even mentioning things like the mirror that they left at the launch or at the landing site that you can still see at the landing site to this day. Like, we've used it for laser experiments ever since the 60s. So
it's getting harder
I really don't see.
target. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I know you're right. It started to degrade primarily due to solar radiation, but it is still there and we can still observe it. So once again, I have to ask, how did that get there? You know, like, did they send a probe that just deposited it and also made a whole bunch of footprints at the site as well? Is the exact gate that a person would leave them? Like, there's so many different things that stack up the 100,000 plus people that worked on the Apollo program, all of which had to have kept their mouths shut for a decade plus. The Apollo 1 fire that almost led to the Apollo program being totally canceled and gutted by Congress. Like, it's not this cut and dry, oh, America was just trying a propaganda campaign against the Soviets. There's plenty of examples of America trying to just pull the wool over the Soviets' eyes and do propaganda campaigns. But those have a very different tone and very different levels of evidence, quote unquote, than the Apollo program does. The Apollo program is overwhelmingly evidential in its truthfulness.
The only thing more epic than America's accomplishments is America's failures. I'm sorry.
I'd have to agree with that.
True. I'm sorry, it's true.
Yeah.
Okay, please don't shoot me. I know there's a lot of people out there that love this country. I do too. Okay, but the reality is, the only thing more epic than America's accomplishments are America's failures.
Aiden, what do you think about?
I couldn't necessarily disagree with you there. Apollo 13 was a great example of a failure in NASA's ability to properly check for the pre-diagnostic information as thoroughly as they did with Apollo 11, which led to the Apollo 13 incident and almost led to deaths of all 3 of the astronauts on board, but it's also simultaneously a credit to them. They were able to get them back alive. I'm sure Achilles would say, well, it was actually positive for them because they got them back alive. Not really. Even though they got the Apollo astronauts back alive, it still fundamentally shook the faith of the Apollo program. Like, you can't help but imagine that the Apollo 14 astronauts were a little apprehensive being the next ones to go to the moon after 13. You know? I mean, I don't know. It's...
Aiden,
Go ahead, Logan.
Mr. Mod has something to say to you. I'll put it on the screen.
Could you read it to me? I can't read it. I'm on my scooter.
It's Nazis, Aiden.
It's Nazis, Aiden. They are evil,
No, it's
demonic
not.
liars.
Werner von Braun. I've talked with Missing Mod about this. Yes, if you want to talk about the earliest progenation of NASA, it could not have gotten off its feet the way that it did without assistance from people like Werner von Braun. I'd never deny that. But you need to actually look into Werner von Braun's politics. The fact that the only reason why he joined the Nazi Party was because he had dreamed since the earliest stages of his childhood to use rockets for exploration, and the only way that he was any funding whatsoever to pursue that dream, unfortunately, was him joining the Nazi Party and gaining access to the circle. So, if you actually look at his writings, even during the war, he kept a journal, I believe, and he expressly stated he was not pro-Nazi in the
Your robot.
V3 rocket program. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, we can hear you better now.
I
mean, the invention of the
he was only there
turboprop,
because he wanted. Go ahead, Dustin.
which made originally their whole design was based on helium because it was inert gas that could compress the flammable gas without any kind of a chemical downside. Then they ended up not doing that anymore because helium was becoming less and less and more expensive. So they ended up having to invent the turboprop, where hydrogen would be fed through a prop on a turbo to increase pressure as it's being ignited.
That's correct. Yes, that was where the innovation of the turboprop came from. I mean, the first ever fighter jet in the world was the Messerschmitt. I forget the number of it, but it was a German fighter jet. So
Right.
the Wehrmacht weapons development program. I've heard people say, well, if von Braun wanted to do space exploration, why didn't he just move to America before the war and all that? Number one, because before the war, he had already proved himself to be valuable enough to the Third Reich at that point that they would not let him leave. But number two,
they had his family. Yep.
Yeah, there's no way he would have been able to leave without his family getting killed. But number two, it was because the Wehrmacht, or not the Wehrmacht, before the war, the Third Reich was spending more on its rocketry programs, trying to develop space exploration programs and rocketry programs for missile development. They had the most funding for that than anybody else in the world at that point. So before the war, von Braun was majorly looking at the Third Reich because this is where I was born, this is where I have natural connections to, and on top of that, this is where I have the most funding available to me to be able to actually pursue this dream of mine. So what I'm essentially trying to say to you, Missing Mod, is that it's black and white as, oh, well, not NASA was therefore bad. I don't think that that's true. I think it's a lot more multifaceted than that.
Well, that kind of reminds me of what happened in that Marvel movie. What is that group that the Marvel guys work for? I forgot what they're called. And they found out
Red Skull.
A shield?
Yeah.
Oh,
Shield.
Red Skull.
We'll find it was started by a Nazi, I guess. I don't know. It's been a while.
He wasn't a Nazi per se, but he was with the
Red
Nazis,
Skull?
I guess. was a commander.
Yeah,
You can't really call him a Nazi if he's, in command.
I think a lot of people, like, when they see a German soldier in the Second World War, they'll just go like, "Oh, that's a Nazi." It's not necessarily true. There's certainly a large number of people in the Wehrmacht who were members of the party, but there was also people who were Czechs and Austrians and other German-speaking countries that were conscripted into the war against their will and were forced to be there on the front lines. So it's just one of those cases where history is always going to be more complicated and multifaceted than basically anybody has time to describe it as. Unfortunately, it's like how we call the Byzantine Empire the Byzantine Empire. Well, they never called themselves Byzantines, and the word Byzantine didn't emerge until a century after the empire had already fallen. It was the Eastern Roman Empire. But we call it that for convenience, essentially, because it's easier to say Byzantine Empire than it is to say Eastern Roman Empire, because people already have a concept at this point of what the Byzantines were compared to the Romans. It's unfortunate, it's just a matter of convenience. It's, well, unfortunately.
Well, Aiden,
Yeah,
is it
come
true
here.
they said that we have our DNA's 90? That's why I heard from Dr. Cloud that we're 97% like an amoeba.
Well, no, I don't agree with that.
What?
I don't agree that we're 97% like an amoeba. I think that's,
Our DNA.
no, I would not agree with that.
I know we're 90% like
Say that,
cat
then.
and very close to banana.
The human genome is made up of 50% viral DNA and 50% bacterial DNA. I think I have my numbers correct.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
the
they've been able to trace.
ERDs versus. Go ahead.
Right. They can trace back most of these gene sequences, but the thing about that is genes do not have ancestry. Right? There's nothing that says that this gene is related to that gene. It's only in the sequence.
Will be increasing divergence of differences that diverge less and less the more that we go back. So I don't agree with you there. I think it's actually quite strong evidence of common ancestry to see less of those differentials in those genes the closer and closer we look at ancestors more related to us, like a chimp versus a banana. There are differences in DNA compared to ours. You'll find that a chimp is more similar than a human.
That's running in reverse, though. Wouldn't that be in reverse, though, from what you would expect? Wouldn't you expect a more perfect genetic sequence the closer you get to the beginning of time? Wouldn't you expect kind of a reverse of entropy in that respect?
How could you define a genetic sequence to be perfect, though? Like, what does a perfect genetic sequence even constitute?
I didn't say perfect. I said more perfect, for lack of a better word.
Okay. I'm sorry. I must have misheard you then. I thought you said perfect. I'm sorry.
That's all right. We forgive you.
Oh, well, thank you, Logan. I appreciate that.
Wouldn't you see like less and less diversity? I mean, since the genes are diverging and everything is related to each other, eventually you'd have to trace it back to the very first cell, wouldn't you? I mean, they're all connected. But genes don't have ancestry, so how do you prove that?
So the ancestry that they have is what we find in terms of their commonality or differences in terms of how much they have drifted apart genetically speaking. I'm sorry, genetic drift. I'm not genetic drift. I'm talking about drift apart in the colloquial sense. Like, they have diverged more in the way that...
Like for example, octopus and human.
Yeah, that's a good example where if you look at an octopus and a human genome and you look at an amoeba and a human genome, you'll find that the octopus's genome is closer to that of a human genome than an amoeba's. It has more similarities in it than an amoeba does. And the reason why we theorize that to be the case right? We don't say that it's definitively the case because that's not scientific, but we theorize that to be the case because we are closer together and more closely related to each other than that amoeba is to us. Like, we wouldn't see those differences if we were all created simultaneously. At least I wouldn't think that we would see a correlation of the difference of genetic information compared to that of how much time they've spent apart from one another, specially speaking.
Well, I couldn't see that the difference in genetic information could be evidence for evolution. I could only see the comparison and what is similar. Anything outside of those parameters would be, I'm sorry to say, it would suggest evidence for the opposite, for the antithesis. If you're saying that all these genes are locked on the same train track, right? And the only thing that's different about this species and that species is where the train tracks split, right? Then
Yeah.
you should see more similarity than you do difference. The difference is evidence for the antithesis because
No,
if
you
you are
wouldn't though,
created
because
simultaneously, what's that?
I was just going to say, even using the analogy of tracks that you're using right now, that would not be the case. If a track diverges 3 miles from a different track versus a track that only diverges 1 mile from that track, no, it's okay. You'll find that those tracks, as far as the first one versus the second one, you'll see that the first one, if it diverged farther apart than the second one. I'm sorry, I totally got thrown off track. There was somebody right around the corner. You should probably take this. I totally got thrown off track.
Oh, sorry.
Look, look. Let me deconstruct it a little bit, and let me explain what I'm trying to say. Okay, if you have these trains, they're all the same. They all have to be able to ride on the train track. The one thing that should
Right.
never change is the thing that's in contact with the train track, right? The wheel. The wheel should never change. We see constant change between genetic variations of what is supposed to be the same related creature. Whereas some are specialized to be in water, some are specialized to swim, or I mean, to fly, and some are specialized to land on the ground. How do you explain that? That doesn't make sense. If all these had to start at the same place, right? And you're telling me that they all have the same thing as far as relation, then the one thing that should stay the same is how the track meets the wheel. But we see such drastic variation where life can almost be defined uh, by a set of attributes, right? And the genes
Um,
any bearing on that. It's kind of like gravity. Once you get out so far, the inverse ratio becomes a non-factor. The only thing that's at play out at those distances is electrical current.
okay, so as far as what you were saying about divergences within species, typically we find those sorts of divergences within species to only be the case when the environment allows for that to be selected for on a large scale, right? So typically we don't see a huge variation of the scale of what you're talking about unless something like a mass extinction event occurs where a huge amount of environmental niches become available suddenly for a creature to be able to exploit. Like, we saw a huge explosion in mammalian diversity directly corresponding with the K2 mass extinction event 66 million years ago. And that was because a whole bunch of niches that were previously occupied by reptilian species suddenly became available for other species to be able to exploit. So if you look at something like, the hagfish, that's a species that has essentially remained stagnant, so to speak, evolutionarily for hundreds of millions of years because its niche that it occupies in the environment has been able to sustain itself through that mass extinction event and then some, which does not trigger much, if any, change of that creature in the environment. So change genetically in a creature is really only selected for on a larger scale than individuals when the environment allows for those things to happen. So I don't necessarily think it's as common as you think it is. I think the main thing that causes the divergence in those train tracks isn't the gene, isn't the wheel, so to speak, but it's the environment that allows those train tracks to be laid out the way that it is. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. So if there's a mountain and you don't have any dynamite, you have to build your way around it.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah. Okay. But on the other end of the equation, again, you only have one mode of transportation, regardless of your accessories to being able to manipulate the environment. Okay. And then the
Right.
other end of the equation is if you have one species that can exploit a niche, then you should have a corresponding species that can exploit the species that exploiting the niche. You shouldn't have seen the mass extinction that you did, right? You would expect a difference in between the appetite of the organisms around them as an evolutionary response, wouldn't you? Why don't we see
Not
that?
necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, like, look at the Carboniferous period, right? Like, all the coal that we have on the Earth right now, or at least over 95% of it, came from one particular era in the history of the planet. It's not. We have almost no coal forming right now. And the reason for the fact that we don't have any coal forming right now is because species have evolved to be able to eat and digest the cellulose bark that trees were able to develop over the course of the early Carboniferous. So there was an
You're
adaptation
talking
where you
about
have a species.
you're talking about fungi, right? Fungi.
Yeah, we're talking about cellulose digesting fungi. They did not exist in the very beginning because there was no niche for them to exploit. Why would you have a fungus that eats cellulose if cellulose isn't something that's been developed yet on a mass scale? So you have a case where an innovation was made by one species, the tree in this instance, and it took tens of millions of years between the advent of that tree, so to speak, and the first fungus that was capable of being able to exploit it, which is why we have giant coal beds in places like the Siberian wastes and the English coal fields. Like that's the reason why there's a huge concentration of it in certain parts of the planet, and B, why there isn't any more forming. So I do think there's plenty of examples where an innovation is made, evolutionarily speaking, and another creature does indeed come about to exploit that. It just takes a very long period of time for that niche to be filled. It's not necessarily an instantaneous thing. And the same is true for the K2. There was a period of millions of years where the reptilian gap in the environmental niches was hugely destructive to the environment millions of years after the actual event.
Oh, Aiden, Matt Powell did a video talk about JW's trying to convert him.
Who's trying to convert who?
What?
Matt Powell just did a video about, I think, the JW, the whole witnesses, trying to convert
Oh,
him.
I'm sure they had a good time knocking on Matt Powell's door. Oh my gosh, if I was a Jehovah's Witness, Matt Powell's door would be one of the last ones I'd want to knock on.
What if they knock on your door, Dustin?
What is being said right now? I can barely hear you.
Oh, we were talking about how Jehovah's Witnesses are trying to convert
Matt Powell.
Matt Powell.
Okay, yeah, that'd be a push a limp rope up a hill. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
What if they try to convert you, Dustin?
What's that?
What if they try to convert you?
Yeah, what if you had Jehovah's
Well,
Witnesses show up to your door? What would you say to them?
I'd be telling them I'm not interested in your truth. Your truth is your truth, and the truth is the truth. Therefore, you are lying.
Oof. And that's when they take the gloves off and you get down. It's SummerSlam, brother! Oh my god, Dustin's come out with the steel chair! He's clobbering them! Oh, they're running away! They're getting back in the vat! He's throwing the chair out the window! Holy crap! I can see it.
Oh
I can
yeah.
see it. I'd sell tickets to that.
I'm sorry. I'm just naturally confrontive. I'm combative, not confrontive. Combative. I'm naturally combative. I can't help it. This is just the era I grew up in.
One of the many things we have in common, Dustin. Don't worry. It's like when you were talking about how you didn't read textbooks, dude. That's the biggest thing that prevented me from being able to go on with business was that I spent all of my high school and most of my middle school years not even picking up a textbook. I never touched them. I would never concern myself with the material written. I was able to get it figured out for myself. And now on the level of university, that's just not really necessarily an option anymore. So having to cram a bunch of knowledge that you don't care about into your head in a format that you don't care for is basically like pulling teeth.
After a certain point, it's not about cramming knowledge in your head. It's being what tests the professors put out, like the years in prior, getting the answers and then memorizing those. That's exactly what college has always been about. There's always been an easy way and a hard way, and those that try to prove themselves through the hard way end up getting hammered like the nail that sticks out. It's just the way it works.
Yeah, maybe I was just doing it wrong. Who knows? I just kind of knew though that I would be pretty miserable for the rest. Would I be making money? Yeah, but I'd be pretty miserable for the rest of my life doing business because the one thing I learned going into university, I was there for about 3 or 4 months before I ended up dropping out, and like the textbooks essentially just show you with a whole bunch of flashy words and writing. Here's how you exploit the most amount of people for the longest amount of
Yeah,
time for the least amount of money spent on your end, and that's just disgusting to me. I find that naturally abhorrent, and I can't work with that. So
buddy, you gotta. I understand. There's gonna be the other end when you get to that equal, see how it's all downhill from there because everything already put into place. Like there is into these things, and to be honest with you, get sucked into that trap are hard headed. Their lesson, right? Like I'm learning a lesson. I should have been in business a long time for myself. I just didn't want to. Would be good enough. Now I'm stuck trying to find another profession. I think I know where I'm going to go with it, but in the meantime, I'm kind of
yeah, nobody wants to do a job that they hate. I hear you there. Um, it's an instance, like I said. All right, like as far as where I'm at right now, I've done the research, and I think the whole stereotype of if you do a business degree, you're just going to end up flipping burgers. I don't think that's true. From the research I've done, the amount of people that get employed after they get a history degree is about the same, if not slightly higher, than the amount of people who get employed after getting a business degree. So, like I said, if I get that and it doesn't pan out for me and I'm never able to pursue history professionally, I can at least put my head on my pillow at the end of the night and know that I did everything that I could. And I would rather know that than spending the rest of my life going, well, what if? What if I did try pursuing what I actually wanted to do? That's what really scares me, is going down a path that I'm going to deeply regret later in my life. I mean, I could
that's
just be, I
yeah.
could right now
I
be
get
doing that right now. I have no
that
idea.
totally.
Nobody knows, right? So I could be setting myself on that path trying to avoid it right now, but hey, who knows for sure? The only thing I know is that I'm trying my best to do what I love, and everybody wants to do on one level or another.
Hey,
It's
but
like what I said earlier. No one wants to do a job
I
they hate.
gotta. I
That's okay. It was good talking with you, though, Dustin.
oh, it's not.
Hello?
Hi, Aiden.
Yeah, hello.
Did you want swinging and go on the slide?
Hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Dustin.
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Okay.
Yeah, we could all hear you.
Okay. Yeah, sorry.
Hey,
I've been going up and down the Bow River right now, so my connection hasn't been the most stable. It probably wasn't even you, Dustin.
oh,
But if you
well,
are still dropping out, Dustin, it was good seeing you, man. Yeah, Logan, what's up?
good seeing you, Dustin. And
I love you
well,
guys.
yeah, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I love
Okay.
you too, Dustin. You have a good one.
Yeah, that Matt probably made a video pouting about them trying to convert. Funny.
Yeah, like I said, if I was a Jehovah's Witness, the last person's door I would want to go to is probably going to be Matt Powell. I'd prefer Kent over Matt, genuinely, because at least Kent isn't going to scream at me. You know, at least Kent isn't going to go on a giant a giant freaking tirade about how, I'm a hellbound sinner and all of that stuff. So, hey, I'd probably prefer Kent over him in that instance.
You know, he
You know
said
what's the
that.
funny thing? You know what's the funny thing? I just wanted to say, one of the things I heard from a clip that you gave me of the 2-hour stream that Lupin did was I mentioned on the one stream that I liked Larry because I'd seen a couple of things of him, and I've watched more of his stuff now at this point. I actually kind of only watch. When I said that I don't watch their stuff, I do actually watch the Resting Place every once in a while. That's like the only thing I watch of theirs anymore. And I like Larry. They say that the only reason I like Larry is because I haven't talked to him, but I don't see how me talking to Larry is going to make me like him any less. The reason why I like him is because it's obvious that he's sincere in what he's saying. To me, anyways, it's obvious that he's sincere. Like he just comes across as an extremely down to earth, sincere person, and I respect that. So I found it funny how they tried taking even that one part of me trying to express like some kind of solidarity with their community and say, yeah, I like Larry. I think Larry seems to be a really good guy. And they tried to still even make that something against me. I found that to be infinitely amusing.
That's crazy. If Ruben came on here and had a discussion with you, what would you guys like to talk about?
I'd just like to talk to him, honestly, if it's going to be Lupin that I'm talking to.
Yeah.
I just want to ask him, why can't we
Be friends?
why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Yeah. No, I would say, like, why can't you see the humanity in me the way that I see the humanity in you? Because it's so obvious to me that Lupin is bitter towards me. He is. The way that he acts towards me, the way that he talks towards me, he's just bitter towards me. And I wish he could drop that for just long enough to realize that we're both people and that we both have a lot more in common that we have not in common. And that maybe, just maybe, if we focused more on what we have in common, maybe you wouldn't think I'm such a horrible, dastardly person. Like, when I talked about guns with Lupin, I had a great time talking about different kinds of guns and ammunition and the availability of the ammunition and the cost of the ammunition and what kind of guns we liked, what kind of guns we wanted to try. That was great. I had more fun talking about that with Lupin than I have in every other interaction with Lupin put together easily. And I just wish that we could keep more conversations going in the spirit of that rather than him so obviously coming into the spirit of trying to interrupt and trying to be antagonistic force, I suppose is the best way of putting it. Because I'm gonna tell you outright, I found it hilarious when he came in yesterday with me as the background, like the fish thing that you made of me. You made that the background. I thought that was hilarious. And one of the biggest reasons, it's fine. That's why I find it hilarious is because it was made by you, or at least that's one of the reasons why. But the main reason why I found it hilarious was because I knew the only reason that he was there to do that was to try and antagonize me. And that's what I was talking about with Dustin. This whole notion that even though you are presented against your will sometimes with somebody trying to get a rise out of you, you are the ultimate person that has the choice of how it's going to affect you. You can choose to not let it affect you at all. And that's what I chose to do with that. I chose, if anything, for it to affect me humorously. And I know for a fact that was not his intent. So that brings me amusement. The fact that he tries to come in for the spirit of antagonizing me and I get nothing but enjoyment out of it brings nothing but more joy upon me. So who really, quote unquote, wins in this situation? The person who didn't get what they wanted as far as their objective is concerned, or the person who left feeling a lot better than they did going in? I'd say the person who left feeling a lot better is probably the person who ended up winning out in that situation. We're not talking about objective truth when it comes to stuff like this. We're just talking about human on human interaction. So I think that you can treat that on a fundamentally different basis than you treat something like the sciences or religion or something like that. And I think that's something that he needs to realize is that interpersonal interaction is not necessarily going to be exactly the same as your theological discussions and theological interaction. And I just don't think he necessarily separates those as best as he could in order to facilitate those. I guess he does. He does it with other Christians, though. He can have conversations with other Christians where it doesn't get personal and he doesn't try to frustrate them, but that's because they think the same way that he does about different things. And I don't know. I find that the whole notion you need to think the same way that we do in order for you to be our friend, that's not a true friendship, in my opinion. That's you basically saying you need to become a completely different person than who you are in order to be tolerable to me. That's not an extension of friendship. That's not, a nice thing. I think that's just you covertly saying you're a bad person. You need to change your behavior to make yourself acceptable to me and my standards of behavior in order for us to be friends. And I don't do the same thing. Like, are there people out there who don't necessarily meet my standards of cordiality all the time that I interact with in my personal life? Yeah. I've got friends that are very boisterous. People that'll push you around every once in a while, not in an actual serious way, but just in a just ha ha joking kind of way, and that's fine. Like, I've got plenty of Christian friends, I've got plenty of Muslim friends, I've got friends of all sorts of different stripes and calibers, and I don't let their difference of opinion get to me
Even a Christian
because
high
ultimately, well, Christian's one of my best friends. I consider Christian, like, he was saying how he thinks of me as a brother. I reciprocate that. I really do. I think of Christian in a brotherly fashion, and we could not be more different in some of our viewpoints. We really couldn't. There's been times where we have sat there and had theological discussions, and we could not move past the basic premise of what we were talking about because that's how fundamentally deep our disagreement was on those issues. But we were still able to walk away from that conversation with no ill feelings towards each other. I didn't walk away from the conversation about God's character and what I consider to be justice versus what he would consider to be justice. Him saying basically your opinion on this is irrelevant from my point of view. That's okay to me. I'm fine with that. I don't view him as lesser for that. If anything, I appreciate his honesty in saying it the way that he does.
Yeah, Aiden.
Because he doesn't talk out of both sides of his mouth. Go ahead, Logan. Oh,
I think he has a very tolerant, nice guy.
Well, thank you. I try my best. I'm far from perfect. Like, there was a while back, Stump was saying, Charles talking about how perfect dating is and everything. I don't consider myself to be perfect. I know I have flaws. I know that there's a fair few things that I could work on about myself that I would like to see worked on over the course of my life. But I think that you need to recognize that about yourself in order to make any changes about yourself, really, positive or negative, that there needs to be change. You don't even have to necessarily recognize it on a conscious level. It could be a subconscious thing that you want to see change in your life, but the only way that you can really take hold of that change and give it direction is if you are consciously aware of it, and you do want to pursue that change. So, an example of that, I want to be more patient during conversations. There's plenty of times where I've interrupted in times where I wasn't supposed to interrupt. I need to jump on that point right now, and I can't let it get by. I had an idea of how to refute that point, and it needs to come out right now. That's a part of me that I'm trying to change because I recognize that it's not conducive to productive conversation.
Yeah, I need
right.
Aaron Rod's a million times worse. But I've seen him when he debates people. He won't let them talk. He talks over them.
What's that?
Aaron Rod, when he debates people, he talks over them when they're trying to talk to him in the debate. There's
Yeah,
nobody more
I
like
think
him.
during a debate, there every once in a while during a debate, not 90% of the time, I'd say it's not something that's good, but a good 10% of the time in a debate, there is cause to interrupt somebody. Um, that's not even what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about conversationally, like not even necessarily in the context of a debate. There's been conversations that I've had with Christian or Big Red Mama or anybody in this community that would have been better served if I had taken more time to listen to that person rather than think about the next thing that I'm going to say. Now, I would never say that I never just don't listen at all. I always try my best to at least partially listen, but I think more of my mental capacity needs to be spent listening to people rather than just thinking of the next thing that I'm going to say. I think that's an example of something that I can work on and improve on about myself.
Oh, uh, yeah, but you're a good guy, Ethan. You've always been a nice guy. I see you as a brother too.
Well, I consider you to be another brother, Logan. Like, I've known you for longer than I've known anybody else in this community. You were, I think you and me were the first people in this community to meet. I might be wrong about that. But maybe Chuck has known Missing Mod or something like that for longer. But I'm pretty sure, upon thinking about it, that me and you have known each other longer than any of the other people in the community have known each other.
Yeah, it's funny. Just
And that's crazy.
yesterday, I used to when I first met you, I really thought you were 14.
Yeah, you were telling me about that
And when you said you were
yesterday.
getting married, it's like, what?
Yeah, I'm young for my age. What can I say?
That guy, Brett, heard what he said about you saying that you put people to sleep. You don't put anyone to sleep when you're talking.
I mean, it's just him. It's just a classic tactic to try and undermine what I'm saying. Like, I've said it 10,000 times. I'll say it again. It's not addressing the things that I'm saying. It's just saying, oh, you're taking too long to say the things that you're saying. Well, how about you actually address what I'm saying? If you don't have the capacity to pick up on everything that I'm saying to you, that's not my problem. It just simply isn't. It's not my problem. It's not something I need to concern myself with. That is something you need to concern yourself with.
Yeah, and
All right. I've never once have I tried to use the argument, well, I didn't understand what you said, therefore you're wrong. But that's essentially what that is
yeah,
I didn't understand what you're saying, therefore you're wrong.
and that song I found about him on the internet, it was funny. I put in that video.
Oh yeah.
You saw it, remember?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just navigating downtown right now. I'm going over to the mall. I'm gonna get myself a bite to eat, and then I'm gonna read while my scooter charges.
Okay.
Then I gotta get to work.
Be careful, my friend. I don't want to get hurt or anything.
Oh no, I'm riding safely. Don't worry. I say that as I was about to brush against a branch. No, but I'm going as safe as I can, making sure that I'm looking both ways when I'm going across the street and stuff. You kind of have to in a city as car centered as this one. That's one thing that's one bad habit we picked up from you Americans. All of our cities are entirely dependent on owning a car.
Oh,
I guess not entirely. That's why we have the train. But if you're not lucky like me and you don't live nearby the train, you're basically screwed. You don't have a vehicle.
well,
You can take the bus, but the bus isn't reliable in terms of like building a job schedule around or something like that. It's late all the time. And
do you have a cab or Uber?
oh yeah, we have cabs and Ubers, but they're very expensive.
Yeah.
And I'm not somebody. I'm not afraid to admit it. I'm not in the highest income bracket. I make minimum wage in my job. I'm not somebody that's loaded with money or anything like that. Never really have been, but I try to be prudent with the money that I do have. Manage it safely. Yeah, thank you. Not like I was supposed to cross there or anything. No. You go ahead.
Are you alright?
Oh my goodness. Some people, no, I'm fine. It's just people in this city do not necessarily know how to drive all the time. I was supposed to go through on the crosswalk because the light came on for me to be able to go, and somebody cut right across it when they weren't supposed to.
Oh,
Because of course they're supposed to. I'm in a car and you're not.
also he's going to upload a video about
Hey, Scooter.
radio carbon dating.
Yeah, radiocarbon dating.
It's funny, I asked a question about that before on Yahoo Answers. There's one person say, how are they dating? Like they're going on a date.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the Calgary Tower, Logan?
No.
Here, I'll show you real quick. I'm right below it right now.
I think. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I mean, it's a pretty decent sized city. This isn't even the main downtown area, but it's a decently sized city for sure.
Oh my. Well, I did hear about Lupin. He's alright. I heard he doesn't have any mental problems nowadays.
Well, I mean, I don't think that he did before. I just think, to be totally honest with you, I think that this, not that he doesn't have mental problems at all, I should clarify that. I think he was going to take a break because, for the same reason that I was going to take a break, or you were going to take a break, or Mr. Mod was going to take a break, let's face it, the internet is an exhausting thing. It's something that consistently takes a lot of time and effort and work. I wouldn't doubt that he's been having some mental issues on as well, but I don't think that would have been the reason for why he would have stepped away from it, because he didn't step away at all. He really didn't. There was never a point where he took a break. This is the second time now that he's tried to say, well, I'm going to take a break, and then it just never happens and it never materializes because of addiction. I'm willing to admit that. There's been times that I said I was going to take a break from the internet, and I didn't end up taking that break because I'm addicted to the internet. Because Google has designed YouTube and Facebook and all these social medias with the express purpose of trying to get you to be on them for as much time as possible. And hey, how could I say that I don't fall victim to that when I'm doing that right now with you, right? Like, be like a heroin user going, I'm not into heroin, I don't care about that, let me just inject this real quick. Like, come on. There's got to be a level where you have to be self-aware, and I just don't feel like he's being self-aware about the reason why he stepped away, or was going to step away, because if he admits that he's addicted, then I guess he's got a lot of harder of a time coming to grips with that than some other people.
Honey, if that guy D-Sign ever come on here running his mouth about your wife, I would definitely would block him and ban him.
Oh, I mean, I appreciate you saying that, but I don't really mind one way or the other. He can say all the things that he wants about that, because, hey, I know that Brianna doesn't care, because she's secure enough with her own image and her own standing life with me that she doesn't need to concern herself with petty crap like that. Me, because I feel the same way. Like, ultimately, all that it represents is the same thing that what Lupin was trying to do earlier when he went on your show last minute and left as soon as I left. It's just a tactic to try and arouse anger out of people. So the only choice that you're really left with when you know someone is trying to arouse anger out of you is to not give them that power.
Yeah, that
because it's all that it really represents. It's a power dynamic. Somebody trying to arise anger out of someone else is a power dynamic. It is somebody trying to possess the capacity to manipulate your emotions sufficiently to get a rise out of you and to make you angry. It's a power dynamic. And you are given the choice as the person who is the target of that to either let it go and not concern yourself with it, or to concern yourself with it and let yourself be consumed by it. Those are really the only options given to you, in my opinion. And the fact that they focus for so long on your short and what you put out about just ridiculous things that were never even close to actual attack. Because to me,
Joel, are you there? Aiden, I can't hear you. Are you there? I can't hear you. Aiden, I can't hear you. Are you there, buddy? Uh, Miss Mud, can you come on here? Hello. Uh, Come on, Miss Mud. You need to come on here. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Steven out there? Steven? I'm not seeing. Aiden, are you out there? Are you alright? Uh, uh, thank you, Miss Ahmad.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How
Okay,
are
good.
you?
I'm good. Trying to change my thingy here.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Good.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry I came so late.
That's all right. What happened to Aiden?
I have no idea. He must have lost signal or something.
Oh, I hope he's all right and stuff. But how are you been today?
I'm good. I'm good. Just did the show earlier.
Oh, that's
Now I get to see what it looks like from you guys' side. That's pretty cool.
yeah. This is the best streaming thing. Way better than StreamYard. StreamYard was so hard to use, so
Yeah.
bad on the internet. This one works easy and perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it too. Only thing I like about StreamYards that isn't the same about Restream is um the avatar. My avatar doesn't move on Restream. You know, how the
I
eye
think
sorry, go
oh,
ahead.
it's moving right now.
Yeah, it is now because I'm using OBS, but
Oh, okay. Yeah. But we should get a video. Of it.
which one?
The one earlier. I found it on here's this face switch where you can
Mhm.
put people's face on even on videos.
Are you talking about the one with Steven?
Yeah.
I just
But
watched that.
what do you think of the Claude one about uh brother balls?
I don't think I watched that one.
One where he have a side says can't go back his joke on his fight against Kent, I guess.
Oh.
It was
Can you
funny.
can you hear me okay like this, or
Yeah,
is
it
it
works.
better?
Sounds perfect.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you sound different that first time I hear you on Steven's channel.
I know, you say that all the time.
Wow. Yeah, before that I heard they used to think you were Willie Steven. Or something like he's a what's it called? Like another account of his?
An alt account?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. People used to say that. Well, at least I heard Chuck say it. Or Steven, actually. I don't know. I don't remember who it was, but I'm just like, what? Why?
Cause they think I don't know. But uh what are you doing for Christmas?
Um, hmm. I don't know. Probably, you know, cooking or something.
Oh,
What about you?
not so much. But what do you think of Matt Pal?
I like Matt. Um, I like him a lot, actually. I think he's got a lot of potential, and he's a you know, I don't know. I just wish he wouldn't. I don't want to say like what I don't want him to do because that's kind of dumb anyway. I'm sure there's a lot of things I should change, but the Steve Anderson stuff. I mean, just look at the way that acting him acting that way and what it gains him, and it's not what the Lord would want, right? The Lord wants you to reach other countries, not get banned from them. But I can't. What am I going to say? That's if that's what he believes, and he truly, honestly believes that. Then I didn't know Achilles liked him though.
Yeah, like crazy. Do you,
Yeah.
does he really have a heel?
I imagine he's probably got two of them.
Achilles heel.
Yeah.
uh, uh, we sick. Yeah, I hope uh Father Chuck's doing good and so.
Yeah, I talked to him. He responded to one of my texts not too long ago, but it was just I'm fine or something like that and nothing else. So I think he's okay. He's probably mad at me,
Uh,
I think. But, I think that all the time. But I'm
but
usually right about that. I
but
mean,
okay. What about do you think the overlords control everyone?
yeah. Yep. No,
What
I
if
don't know. What are the overlords? Like, what are they?
Steven?
Good guys, bad guys,
I think Steven's one of them.
slumlords? Oh no, 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 no. I mean, come on, we could figure that one out. No, they're not. He's certainly not controlling everything. I wish he would come on and talk to Big Bad Mama about politics because man, they had a great conversation that one time, talking about that stuff. But yeah, I don't think me and Steven are going to be friends anymore. But I
I'm
don't know.
sorry.
It's okay. I'm sorry
Well,
too.
I would like to have you talk to Wake.
Oh yeah. What
Yeah.
what would we talk about?
I don't know. Have you ever talked to her? I heard in comments, but would you ever like to talk to her on video?
I mean, I wouldn't be against it or anything. Sure, but I think we pretty much line up on the stuff that you know our beliefs and stuff. I think I don't know. Yeah, I would like to talk to her about her days as um a pagan.
Yeah,
Your
she used
thoughts
to
on
be a
witchcraft
pagan.
and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love talking to
Do you
people
think,
like that.
yeah, do you think Steven could be a pagan?
No,
Oh, witchcraft.
no.
Okay. What do you think Achilles could be a vampire?
That's what I hear. I told him I'm like, don't let that bother you. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, we all know you're not really a vampire. No. Well, I mean, at
Excellent.
least I think. I don't know. Do we believe it or
Yeah. If you debated them over, like, Aiden them over evolution, what would your argument against evolution be?
Hmm. Well, I don't know. I'd have to think about that because I don't really know like that much about the science and stuff. It's just obvious. I don't care how much science you use, you can't create um something like a human eye from nothing. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
Or,
So, for it to evolve and then anyway, if you would even if you took a human eye and put it in something that it could, that it wouldn't deteriorate in. I mean, it would never evolve into something else. I mean, obviously, I know that's not the way it works, but it just doesn't make sense to me. But I don't think it really matters. I love what Big Bad Mama was saying earlier, though, about the conspiracy, that it's like a worldwide thing. what was it, against Christianity or something, or religion.
Yeah.
Man, I want to know more about that. Where did he hear that? And what are the details on it?
No, I think he might have heard it from the creationists.
Yeah, but I mean, where? From who?
Probably Kent Hovill and those other
I
guys.
don't
Because I always.
think Kent thinks it's a worldwide thing. I mean, oh, okay, I see. You mean like the science textbooks and stuff. No, people are just like the Mandela effect. Everybody thinks, oh, the Mandela effect is real. It's like, no, it's just people that assume they know something and then they go all the way with it, like the lion and the lamb, right? But a lion doesn't make sense with a lamb. A wolf and a lamb make sense being together, right? So that's what I think it was originally, and somebody said it wrong, and that person just ran with it, and then they just kept running, until they made all these big giant sculptures of lions and lambs together.
Oh,
No one checked.
I was going to ask. Oh, man, I was going to ask him, but I forgot.
Was that your
Oh,
first time talking to Mark earlier?
no, I think it might have been the second or third.
Oh, yeah, man, that like I was in such shock that he even showed up in the comments. I'm like, wait a minute, I had to rub my eyes for a second. I'm like, whoa, he is here. That was pretty cool.
Aiden said his phone died.
Good. No. Well, as long as he didn't go in the lake. How's he telling you that?
By Facebook.
On his phone?
I don't know.
Yeah, we should just leave that alone. Maybe he's just lying.
What was I gonna say? Yeah. We think that. What else? Oh. What the? There is.
What? Aiden, on your dead phone.
No, I got it charging right now. I was actually just about to say, I'm waiting for my scooter to charge and I'm having a meal, but I wanted to at least come back, make sure that you guys knew I was okay. So
Oh, that's.
I'm all right. I'll talk with you guys
Good.
later, though. I'm going to eat my meal now.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Don't eat too fast.
Have a
I'll
good
try
day.
not to. I haven't eaten yet today, so I might eat it a little fast.
Is Brianna with you?
No.
No? Oh.
No,
was
I'm
gonna
at the
say,
mall
don't-
right now. I'm just charging my scooter.
Oh.
Oh,
drinking
nice.
some Canadian beer?
No, I'm having root beer. I'm having A&W root beer, which is Canadian root beer.
Wow.
It is?
Yes, it is. A&W root beer is Canadian. Have you ever had A&W root beer, Miss Mud?
Yes, I sure have. I love root beer.
Yeah, it's the best root beer there is. Yeah, it's actually associated with the burger chains. I've got a full meal of theirs sitting in front of me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's got
I think
3
I knew
patties stacked on top of each other. It's called the Grandpa Burger, and it's a monument to just absolute carnality, and I love it so much.
Carnal?
Me too.
Oh no, you said the word
Just
carnal.
gluttony. Just gluttony upon gluttony. Enjoy it while you
I mean,
can.
if you're hungry. If you're
According
hungry,
to
what do
them
they-
liberals, you're going to be eating bugs one day, according to Christian Pike.
Actually, that what
you don't really
they
believe
said
that,
on
does
Steven's
he?
channel.
Oh, they're coming to get Aiden.
No, there's a guy getting escorted out right now.
See how I could tell it was something else? Like, I knew there was some scuffle going on there. That is
There
so
was.
funny.
You've got a sixth sense for that. You really do.
Do you ever
Because
get
you're a
in a bar
woman.
fight?
Yeah.
You can sense
I can see it.
conflict like it's a sixth sense.
I'm like, oh, I want to be in there. No.
I was about to
Not
say.
hitting
I was about to just get yourself all up in there.
You ever been to a pub?
Yes, I have. I've been to a couple of pubs.
What's the difference?
A pub is more oriented around food rather than just being a place to drink. So, like a pub, you could typically get like, you get a burger and you get some wings or something like that. That's more a pub than a bar. That's more just focused around just getting drunk.
Oh,
Getting drunk is only a component of a pub.
wow. You ever been to a sports bar?
Yeah, I've been once or twice. I'm not a huge sports guy, so everyone always wants to chat me up about this season of football, and I just kind of talk to them like I just pretend like I know what I'm talking about, and I typically do pretty good. That's my practice for coming on here. It's just saying a bunch of nonsense and hoping you guys believe me.
Uh, would you ever like to start a Doom bar?
A dune bar, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. I don't really know if you could really do much of regarding the theming besides, I mean, spice beer would be pretty cool. Have some blue beer. That'd be kind of interesting. You ever seen blue beer before in your life? I mean, you've seen blue beer cans, obviously, thanks to that piss water known as Bud Light, but you've never seen blue beer.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm
never
sorry,
seen
but it's
that.
true. Bud Light is piss water. It just is.
Yeah, I
do,
agree.
do they call Corona the same thing there that they do here?
Yeah, no, we've got Corona.
I mean, do they call, like you said, it's watered down? What do you call Budwater or Bud Light?
Piss water.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say the same thing about Corona, but it's Mexican piss water instead of, I don't
I
know
mean,
why. I
like,
guess.
I kind of can't help but disagree, to be totally honest with you. They're both really bad. I like Stella Artois. That's my beer. I drink Stella Artois, and Dustin probably died a little inside hearing that I drink Stella Artois. He's probably like, "Not me. I drink Coors Light like a working man."
Or the champagne of beers, Miller. Or wait, is it Miller? I don't know.
Now,
I don't drink
I
beer.
I
Dos
don't
It
drink
reminds me of
actually.
it reminds me of
Equis.
embalming fluid.
You remember that with the most interesting man ever? I don't usually drink, but when I do, it is Dos Equis.
Is that
Yes, the
Achilles?
most interesting man in the world.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. I've always wanted to try that, but they don't have it out here. It works. It's one of those few advertisements that actually works. Because all these years later, I'm still thinking about it, and I still want one.
The
Wow.
memes were
Are you
awesome.
going to get one?
They really were. All right, I'm gonna go and eat my food though before it gets cold. Talk to you guys later.
Okay, have a good day,
Have a
buddies.
good
Be
one.
safe.
Bye bye.
Bye. Hey, Justin.
Christian said, "Old
Something
busted
tells me
duck."
I missed out on some things.
He
Nope.
talked about
Can you
beer
guys
and
hear me?
yeah,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Okay. Something tells me I missed out on something important.
I don't know. If you did, I did too.
Is this Christian Pack? Oh, Aiden came back.
Are you there, Aiden?
Kick him out. No. So how are you doing, Dustin? Doing all right?
I'm okay. I'm alive
Oh,
and well.
Good.
Could
Well,
be
that's good.
worse. Could be better. Yeah. I'm on a never-ending quest to get $750 for insurance.
wow.
700.
Oh, you did. Oh, sorry. Did you win your case?
Yeah, I won.
Now you're going to get millions of dollars and going to buy your own man.
It would be awesome, but my case wasn't worth that much, I guess. Whatever. It is what it is.
Sorry about that. Dustin,
What?
are you still buddies with Steven on there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why?
I just wanted because I thought they like you had problems with some.
No, Stump and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, right? Um, that's the extent of the static that's going on over there. That, and I don't really like Lupin that much.
Oh, Lupin, Tupin, take it up, Lupin. Lupin. Oh, sorry. What do you think, Miss Mod?
Well, think about what? About Lupin?
Yeah, he tried to take on your Yang. No one can take on your.
Well, I don't think much about it. I just, you know, I don't know. He thinks I was being mean, and I think different. So
What do you
I
think,
think
Dustin?
I think he acted too fast on that one.
Would you ever like to join her
I
Yang?
think what is going on with that? Women should not have Yangs. They should have Yings.
Oh, go ahead, Dustin.
Why are you trying to get on a woman's Yang? It doesn't make sense. Okay? There's something wrong here.
Lupin came up with that one, I guess. I don't know. Logan went ham with it.
What does Brother Pike say about
It figures.
He said it's a Yankster's paradise out here.
Gangster. That's
He also put E.O. Gaden Linden. Who's that?
It's old Gaden Linden and old Bustin' Duck, he said. Hey, your
what do you
name
think, Dustin?
you should change your name to Yankster Ghost.
that make a lot of sense. Yeah, that would be in tradition. As is tradition. Oh, dear
So
God
let's
in
talk
heaven.
crap about Big Bad Mama now that he.
What happened?
What?
Big Bad Mama? What do you have against Big Bad Mama?
I was just gonna. Nothing. Nothing. I was just saying we should talk crap about him. Just seeing if he's out there. I don't have anything against
he's
anyone.
out there. He's probably
Hiding, ready to attack.
What?
That's a joke. Claude said he put up a video about carbon dating when he's gone on a date, I guess. But Dustin,
I don't wanna say too much on the subject because I'm gonna be having a conversation with him about it. So
I
have a few questions that. What's that?
Would you ever join Mrs. Maud's Yang?
No. No. Absolutely not. I will not. No. Sorry.
Miss Ahmad.
Mm-hmm.
And Dustin, what do you think of? I heard, is it true now they think the Big Bang wasn't the start of the universe, but just expansion?
By the name, it sounds like it was the end.
They're trying to say that the Big Bang, it's not actually an explosion. Okay, right? They're trying to say that. Okay, so I mean, the thing about this is that if what they're saying now, right, is true, then it gives a lot more credence to the electric universe. Okay, because when you get out to a certain point in distance, the inverse square ratio, gravity does not have an effect. Right? What you're dealing with after a certain distance is electrical forces, a magnetism, push and pull.
Wow.
So, like if this wasn't based on inertia from a central point, right? But rather an expansion from a central point where matter just couldn't coexist in such a tight area, and it essentially occurred at the same chart to a point where it tore itself apart. I mean, it doesn't. It's a well. How do you expand things? It's usually an explosion, right? Like there's usually a severe, like, instant aggressive explosion of heat. Like, how else would you explain it?
Yeah. I think it's all Miss Maud's fault.
My fault? Why is it my fault?
It's a joke. Well, they got have you ever
Chris
had,
said Dustin's mic caught polio.
Miss Maud, you ever heard of the multiverse? A man?
I've heard that term, but I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. I
What does
heard
it
that
what does it mean?
It's a broken theory. Like it's something that you can never prove. How would you prove that, right? Number one, the laws of quantum physics state that two objects cannot occupy the same space at the time, right? So if that's the case, and there's a parallel universes, the distances are so astronomical that you would never be able to see the kind of results you would need to see in order to convince you that this was a twin universe.
wow. Dustin, what if there's another universe where you are super predator? What would you do then?
I would probably contact myself and borrow a few weapons.
Oh,
Go kick Aiden in the nuts with some super predator weapons. I could totally see it. Well, when I'm kicking him, I'll be like, "Fuck around and find out."
uh, are you doing another episode or something?
I haven't had the time, man. I've been busy with stuff.
Yeah,
I don't think that my show is gonna go anywhere, man. I really don't. It's not
Wait,
very popular,
what?
and
Yes, it
but I
is.
haven't been. Huh?
You've only done 2. What do you mean?
I know.
It's
I
gonna be off.
don't have like. I just don't have the time. I really don't. Like I'm constantly working, trying to take care of things.
oh,
Well, I understand that, but
I
you
just
can't
don't
say
have
that
the
it's not
time.
popular. That's all I was arguing with you about. I don't know if you got time, but
It's
I
really
know it's good.
not. Like I've been looking at the analytics, and yeah, I mean it doesn't. If I was to, I would need to. It would ultimately just wouldn't. It wouldn't the benefit wouldn't be worth the work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, the work is fun though. That's before. And then you're comparing yourself to Steven's channel, which is way bigger. It takes time to get up there,
I
or it just takes one Kent Hovind
I don't
interview.
know how. I don't know how big Steven's channel is, but I don't know about that.
Well, I mean,
I
there
think
is
that
a
there's
size.
some well, yeah, but I mean I think that there's some tomfoolery going on with his size. I'm not gonna lie. There's something going on there because I've seen his lives. I've seen the like counts, right? Like he's not getting likes for the full video. I think he's getting likes for shorts, and the shorts are being tied to the video. And anybody can get big with shorts because they're very, very short. A lot of people getting the idea would like it. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's as popular as he lets on.
oh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just with the community and stuff, word gets around and you'll be. That's like my channel's only like 112 subscribers, but I have the same, if not more, live viewers. It's just word of mouth. It's just for us to connect with each
Yeah,
other,
no,
really.
I know.
I just like making it cool. And then yeah, like if you were to put the effort into it, it would be awesome because you've had two really good shows. So don't think that you can't do it. You would definitely take over my spot because I can't
Oh,
keep things on
like
track.
I would,
You know.
if I could get anybody to keep to their freaking schedule. Like I've had 2 debates scheduled, and right, I mean they wouldn't even really be debates; they're discussions. Like my whole platform was about personal differences. That's all it was. Like it wasn't mirror anything else, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. I'll put some thought to it, but I don't think I just don't see the juice being worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
Is it true you're a giant? I've seen a picture of you being a giant.
Yeah, I've seen that. You sent it to me.
Yeah, I asked Ken about the original picture. He thinks it's real.
Kent,
Yeah,
you talk Hoven?
yeah.
Huh. I've only talked to
You could
I've
use.
never
I have
talked
his
to him.
number, his phone number.
have
If
his
you
phone
want to
number
ever
too.
call.
Yeah, it's
What about
855 Big Dino, extension 3.
would you ever call Mrs. Bob?
I want to, but I haven't, no.
What about you, Dustin? Should you call him?
Called him a couple of times. I've been in some really bad places in the last couple of years.
Oh, sorry about that. I hope everything's better for you.
Well,
Dustin,
I know you don't like me very much, but if I can help, I'm here. You can unblock me anytime. I promise I won't be mean anymore. Sorry about that.
That was cold, right? Like that was really cold the way you went about that. Like that wasn't yeah, I don't that I did anything to deserve that. I really don't.
I don't know which part you're talking about, but I'm just going to I'm just going to say I'm sorry. you know. I mean,
I appreciate
we all have it. We
it.
all have it in us, right? You know.
I believe we all have it in us, but I believe that having it in us and knowing the difference is having self control.
look at what Aiden said.
What did Aiden said?
His response to your thing, Villeship, is that ACs are.
Well, if that were true, we'd be
What?
like, Atheist Junior. I mean, he said his response to your, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Here's
No,
another
it's
one
okay.
he said. We think that.
Oh, he said
You
that.
guys are breaking
Steven said
up.
that.
Hold on a second.
I guess Steven said atheists are sticking together is why I got viewers. I don't know. It's so
This
funny.
buddy.
Thank God he's not in control of who's going to heaven. Because yeah, none of us would get in.
We think. Well, it's Aiden saying.
Not to mention the fact that his shorts aren't his work, but David Wilkerson. I think most of them are Achilles, if I understood that correctly. He's trying to profiteer off other people's work and claim that success as his own.
Oh, here's that other one. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off from saying this one. The only good godly people watching it, and when your channel, it's ACs. That's what Steven said, I guess. We think Mr. Mod.
I don't know. I think he's wrong as usual.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, it's I think he was mentioned what Dust Stevens said, I guess. Yeah.
I just want to move on.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's not. It's it's up to the whole group, I guess. So
Yeah. Miss Mudd,
yeah,
is it true you went to Harvard?
no, no. But thank you to whoever made that up.
Are you sure?
hmm
Well, Miss Mudd, Dustin, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What would you say if Big Bad Mama asked you, what proof would get you to believe in evolution?
Who? Me or Dustin?
Yeah, both of you. What would you say to Big Bad Mama?
Well, I don't think there is anything.
I would have to see. Well, I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I just think they're wrong. Uh, I've been in their evidence. To me, if everything is coming from the same source but it diverges, right? Then it should be reverse compatible, and we don't see that anywhere in nature, right? You can't crossbreed anything anywhere, and when you do, it's sterile. It, I don't buy it. I just don't buy it.
Oh. What if they had a part human, part manatee?
I mean, I would have to see the parents, right? Like if it was just a manatee, then if it was just two manatees and it came out like where it had like, because you see that where you see in nature where like animals have extra body parts on them, right?
Yeah,
That does happen, right?
people
So,
get that too.
what?
Yeah, people get that too. They
I
have
mean,
like
like
web
I
feet.
suppose if I was out at the beach, right, and a manatee comes flopping up on the freaking beach and busts out a hand with opposable thumbs, sits in the lawn chair next to me, opens up a beer, and tells me I was wrong about everything, I might have to reevaluate myself and my opinions a little bit. But short of that, I don't think I'm going to buy into evolution.
What if it's Brett King? They say he's the manatee.
Was I echoing this whole time?
No, you sound
Okay.
perfect.
Okay, because I had my speaker on and I just realized I'm like, oh man. I hope I wasn't just echoing the whole time.
Dustin, I heard they say we're very closely related to bananas. Are you a banana? Are you there, Dustin? Are you there? Are you related to banana, Miss Ahmad?
Um, I get, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they say we're very similar to bananas and corn, I think, and cats.
Wait,
Yeah.
so did you say iguanas?
Oh, cats and
Oh,
bananas and corn, I think.
do you believe that?
I don't know. They say with the DNA stuff.
You do believe that, don't you?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, do you think God created everything, or do you think?
Yeah.
Okay,
Michael Jones, you know what he said? He
what?
said that uh
What? Oh, sorry.
that's all right. He said that he believes that evolution is how God made us.
Mm.
Michael Jones. You remember
Yeah,
him, right?
yeah, you like that guy, don't you?
Yeah, I asked could he come on the show.
Well, what did he say?
I couldn't get a hold of him. Well,
Hmm.
are you alright, Justin?
Huh?
Oh, hi, Justin. I got you back.
Evolution,
Yeah.
evolution, and Christianity are inherently incompatible. Okay, it just doesn't work. You have Christian evolutionists. Uh, they clearly just they miss the mark every time because they say that you can compromise on the Bible.
Yeah. That what Michael Jones. He believed that God used evolution to create Adam and Eve, and he chose them to be his first prophets. I guess. I don't know. What do you think of that, Dustin?
That doesn't make any sense because mankind is mankind, right? In order for mankind to be mankind, it has to the law of five. I forget how to even say it. Nothing can go
Well,
from one form to another, right?
yeah.
So I mean,
Well,
it's inherently contradictive when you're looking at evolution. You can't have one thing that becomes another thing because of the law of phylology. But the very core principle of evolution is organisms over time from one thing to another, based on survival of the fittest.
yeah. Miss Mod, your avatar went off.
Yeah, I know. I turned it off. I was just messing around. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Uh, yeah, like Dustin when he gave birth to another Dustin, right, Dustin? Are you there?
Hello,
Hi, Dustin. I can hear you now. Are you there?
hello,
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
hello.
Hello, can you
I
hear
can
me?
hear you.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you said like
Here's the other thing.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
You see contradictions, right? And every time you run into a contradiction, instead of taking responsibility for being wrong, they'll wedge some other factor in there that clearly doesn't belong, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can make the
Oh, can't hear you now.
well,
There you are now.
I'm here.
Yeah, there you are.
See, like evidence, I've noticed that there was a time where, like for example, Darwin, he explained that his theory could be falsified, but now even evidence against the theory becomes evidence for the theory, right? Because it's settled science. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Science is never settled. I don't care how determined you think you are on what you think something means. You don't actually ever get to know what it really means. It's outside of the human ability to fully grasp things in that kind of sense. We don't have any surety. There are no set core principles. Even our constants that we call our science and cosmological constants, our science is showing that they're changing. Right? What we thought they were are not actually the true value. So, yeah, nothing that they claim is based on anything that you can say from A to B to C. All that these steps are outlined, right? Where you can go back and audit them and make sure that the math lines out. It doesn't work like that. Cats, you got cats that show up in the evolutionary tree without any common ancestor. It just shows up to the Cretaceous. They have fully formed and no ancestry to speak of. It just you see example after example after example where their data is clearly wrong.
I heard about, I forgot what they call it, something explosion. I forgot
Yeah,
what they call it.
the Precambrian explosion, the Precambrian
Yeah.
explosion. Okay, where you find trilobites and I forget all kinds of organisms fully formed without any ancestry to speak of. No explanation for how they got there, no explanation for how they died. They're just there.
Uh, yeah, I remember seeing a video about that once. But
I mean, you take a look at all the core principles that Darwin built evolution on, and hardly any of them hold today, right? And there are evolutionists out there that say that this is okay, that the theory has developed past the creator, but there's a problem with that theory is that if the individual who came up with the theory had the intelligence and self-reflection to say that it could be falsifiable, then you should have people that have that very same position all the way down the line. But instead, we have these die-hard convictionists to the theory being absolute reality. And we don't even, I'm sorry to say this, but the reality is we don't even have an actual proper definition for gravity. And if we don't have a proper definition for something that's so fundamental and basic to our creation and what keeps us on this planet, then what do we know about the mechanisms that allow us to be on the cognitive principles that we stand today? It doesn't work.
yeah. What would you like to talk? What do you say if they, Big Bad Mama show you a fossil, what they say is a common ancestor?
Well, they have these fossils that they say are common ancestors, but the reality is that there aren't very many of them that are actually right. What is it? Lucy was made and scrambled all over the place, put her together from a bunch of scattered bones.
Wow. Yeah, I heard about that. And they said that, and they said that what's- like some people think that they misrepresented Lucy, I guess. Too.
To a
What do
certain
you think of that?
degree. To a certain degree, they did, yeah. Because Lucy, well, because they said that she died by a fall, right?
I'm not sure.
I forget. I studied it, but since I just of it was that her bones were designed to be in the face and weren't meant to be on.
Oh, yeah. What do you think? They also said that humans are apes.
I mean, we have one opposable thumb, right? We have eyes and ears and nose, and so does every other living organism on this planet. The one thing that ties us together that they keep pointing to is the opposable thumb. And they keep saying that there's genetic evidence, but they never ever seem to have any, right? Uh, not apes. No, buy that for a second.
What do you think, Missing Mod?
Well, I did say that I think the only thing we have in common is we don't have furry palms.
But
Or that we do have in common, I'm sorry.
but you're what they call an angel lady.
Well, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not even true either, because like
Oh, you're breaking up.
and like
Breaking.
there's no comparison between a gorilla and a human hand. The whole structure's different. Like everything about it, they're not the same. The only thing that we have in common is the fact that we have opposable thumbs. But those are different. The ligaments are different. Everything.
Well, they also said we have legs and arms. Or shaped the same.
What?
They said we're shaped the same, like have legs and arms.
This to me. Why do chimpanzees seem to go their entire life without any back pain? Mankind grows up, they have back. Why is it that more superior model a factory?
That's a good question, though, the back pain thing.
And here's another thing: their feet are hands.
Make any sense?
Oh. Yeah, no. Yeah, you're right.
Here's another thing: their feet are hands. They have hand feet.
You know, I've seen a silverback gorilla. Like, if you go to the zoo and you see the big bolts that they do their enclosures with, and how they're like giant bolts. I mean, they have giant, like really strong. What do you call that? Drills that put them on. I
Lag
seen
bolts.
yeah, I seen a gorilla unscrew one of them by hand. He was mad and he was unscrewing it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
They'll do that.
insane.
It's completely different. The whole muscle structure, everything. It's all different.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you look at a gorilla, if you look at a gorilla and you compare it to a human, right? The human body has a V shape, whereas the gorilla has the opposite of a V shape. It gets stouter at the stomach, right? How do you have that entire morphological change between a supposed gorilla, a monkey, and a human if they're all cross related? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I don't see I don't see like gorillas trying to mate with like chimps and stuff either. I mean, do we? I would definitely. Yeah.
Do they also have
No.
hand feet? Apes? Or their
Then
feet
okay,
like
but
hands?
that's not entirely a good position to take, because you find dolphins that'll crossbreed with all different kinds of. Dolphins are pretty devious and sexual like monsters. It's you don't want to use that as an argument, because that doesn't hold across the whole animal species.
Well, I mean, do they bring forth though? I mean, I've seen a dolphin rape a human,
No.
but she didn't have a baby.
Right, but like, something else.
Well, doesn't. Yeah, is it true that apes have
What?
hand feet? Like their feet are like hands?
Well,
too?
I mean, they can.
Yeah, like.
And to be fair, mankind can too. Like, if you look at it, they're nowhere near similar.
Yeah.
No, they got thumbs on their feet, don't they? Pretty much.
Yes.
Claude says the science is settled.
Right.
Evolution from a common ancestor is a fact.
Right, Claude. science is settled.
That's weird. Science is settled. I'm sure they thought that too back when George Washington was alive.
There's never been a point in human history where we didn't think we knew absolutely everything. Okay, it's huge, but it's the reality of mankind. Uh, I don't know. Einstein said it best. Of two things in this universe, I am certain. That is the expansion universe and the study of mankind. And of the expansion of the universe, I am much less certain.
Yeah, Claude Kent cannot be a doctor. He could be all the bad things you guys say, but his words, right? Like you can have the truth and share the truth being any kind of person. It doesn't matter who you are. I don't have any degrees in anything, but I can tell you how to grow a pineapple. I mean, does that mean it's that I'm not right about that because I'm a bad person? Like I surely hope not.
Oh. Would you like to debate Claude, Dustin?
Uh,
Are you there? Dustin, are you there? Can't hear you.
I'm gonna have to get going here soon, Logan.
Yeah, me too. Dustin, I have to shut. I have to be going soon.
Well,
Dustin.
he's thinking really hard about the debate question.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't know.
yeah. Thank you for coming on, Miss Maud.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm sorry I didn't come
Yeah.
on your first stream.
Oh, that's all right. You always welcome on.
Well, thank you. Are you sure?
Yeah.
What if that
And
guy what's that guy's name? Um 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 um
science,
the no, the guy you were talking about earlier. I can't remember his name.
sea science.
Mm-mm. Um his name is like Rocky or something. No, what if Mark comes on though?
Oh, Mark Stoney.
Yeah, I'll probably just stay off if he ever comes
Oh,
around. I doubt he will though. I don't know.
I heard he like to have a talk with Christian about the Trinity.
He said that or
Yeah.
Christian said that?
Ask him and Aiden and first Christian Brother Pike and Aiden said they would like to have a talk about the thing, and he's uh Aiden said he'd like to bring Mark on to talk about it. I talked to Mark. He said, yeah, he would like to come on to talk about it.
Huh. Well, maybe I should just stay away then. Maybe he'll
Oh,
start coming back.
you're always welcome on here too. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I wouldn't put you I wouldn't put you in that position anyway, cuz I care about you and your channel,
Oh,
so I just wouldn't even
thank you.
I would just stay away or I would just be out in the chat harassing.
Yeah.
But
How
I'll
do
just
you
leave
make
him be.
people mods
On YouTube?
on here? Yeah.
Um well, you just I think if you go to the chat, you got to go to the chat on YouTube and then you click their name or their comment and it'll have a little box pop up and it'll have a list of stuff on there you can choose from. One of them should be like make them it's two different kinds of mods and I'm not sure what it says. I don't know. I
Can I
can't
make
tell cuz
you
I'm on
mod?
yours. Yeah, if you want.
Okay.
I would be honored.
Oh, thank you. You
Knight,
be the
the
found
me
mod.
found mod, huh?
The found mod.
No longer
Oh.
missing.
We'll call you Mrs. Mod.
Yeah, if you want.
Wow.
Yeah, because I guess I'm not missing, so. Not missing. Haven't been missing for a while.
Yeah. You said you met me before. That time. Stephen brought you on into that meshes thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where? How long do you know about me?
Let me think. Probably the first stream you ever went on Brett's show you had before because I remember him. I subbed to him when he had the debate with. He hosted a debate for Matt and oh, what's that guy's name? James? No, not James. Anyway, he hosted a
Chris.
debate for him. Huh?
Was it? I forgot his name. The
He
guy
had
from
that
Brooklyn.
picture. He had a picture of Aaron behind him while they were debating. His name might be James, actually. I don't think so, though. Not the funny one, not the one that's on Amy Newman's show, but yeah, I don't know. He's got an accent too. And I'm not sure where it's from.
He's from Brooklyn. He kind of reminded me of Christopher Hitchens.
Huh. Well,
way he looks.
Oh yeah, I'd have to look him up because I don't know what he looks like. But I subbed him that way, and then he just instantly after that had Cindy Lincoln on, and then I just seen you on a stream up there one time. He was letting everybody on, and I remember your scary avatar first, or it's not scary, but the demon avatar, and then this one, and
Well,
you just were sitting there hanging out. I didn't know who you were.
I made a video with the scary one.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember Rosie's son talking about it was a picture from a video game, but that's an actual real it's a real picture, right?
Yeah. I think I remember hearing Mark told me that it's a real picture.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they caught it on a deer camera or something.
Yeah.
Apparently. I mean, and it could just be something else. I mean, who knows, but
what if it turns out to be Dustin?
Well, hey, I just realized that thing's glowing in that pic. Oh wait, that's right. That's because it's infrared. Never mind. False alarm. False alarm. False alarm.
You found out your dad was an angel and your mom was a queen for the day you were born.
Probably off with a bunch of people's heads. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'd probably just be like, "Hey, don't you know who I am?" next time I get pulled over.
But you don't drive cars, you fly with your angel wings.
Yeah, but driving is fun.
Huh?
Do you drive?
Nah. Drive people crazy?
You should. You should try it. It's fun. Have you ever wanted to?
I tried once. I'm not a good driver.
Well, nobody's a driver right away. You gotta learn.
I'll probably drive right into a house.
No. Well, I'd teach you how to drive if I knew you, if I could see you in person.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Well, what do you do if Mark did a new hangout show?
I would be there, probably the first person there. I've been watching the old streams recently.
Yeah.
That's what's special about Mark is he comes on camera all the time and you can tell that he doesn't care. Like you could just see it in his face. I don't know, either that or he's a really good actor.
Yeah, he's a tough guy.
He's probably a good actor.
He's a tough guy. He can kill a bear with his bare hands.
I don't know about that. Bears are pretty strong.
You ever see? Yeah. We like if he came out here with Aiden and Brother Pike talking.
Yeah, that'd be cool. People
I
would love
think
that.
Brother Pike is a younger version of Mark. Are
Well,
they only about
I
3
think
years
that's funny,
apart?
but yeah. Yeah, they're very different. I'm just messing around with Christian. I almost forgot his name. I'm just messing around with Christian whenever I say that, really. Well, I'm actually messing around with everybody because I know everybody's like all sensitive about Mark, so I just do it to trigger you guys.
Oh, okay.
And I do a lot of the stuff that I've done. I mean, he's probably severely offended over something that was me messing around, and that sucks. That's why I wanted to know why. But you know, what are you gonna do? You gotta just let it go.
Hi, Big Bad Mama.
Hi, how's everybody?
Good.
Good.
What are you guys talking about?
Well, earlier Dustin was talking about evolution. He says it's not true.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
that's what we were
gosh.
talking about.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to do about that.
If you had pearls on, you'd be clutching them.
Yeah, right, exactly.
When I had the discussion with him, would you show proof of evolution?
Well, I would show him evidence. Proof normally isn't a scientific thing. Proof is like in mathematics, you prove theorems or whatever. But science, I would show him evidence of evolution. But, I expect that he's already seen it.
Well, math is real science. That's the real science right there.
Well, science uses mathematics.
Everything. Yeah.
Right. Everything
Math is a
uses
universal
math.
language. It's the same in every universe.
Really?
Well, yeah. I mean, think about.
It's
Well,
a
I don't know about that.
multiverse?
I don't know. I don't know. I just
Oh.
said that. I just said that like that word.
Missing
But I'm
Mod
not.
believes in the multiverse. You heard it here first.
What is that exactly? Because I was thinking about the way Dustin was describing it earlier, and he said that no two things can exist in the same place at the same time. But what about
Well,
the
that would be
soul
like
and the
another
spirit?
dimension, I think. So
Yeah.
an alternate dimension. But a multiverse just means that there's multiple universes, not just
Yeah.
ours.
No.
Which a lot of that makes sense, but we're
Alternate
not,
dimensions now.
we
What about
always tell
you?
ourselves we're special.
Well, we are special.
Well, we're special, but we're not unique. I mean,
We're special. We're
logic.
special enough to think we deserve to punish somebody for hurting us.
That's true, but when it comes down to it, we're just a species. And this isn't taking away from it, but we're a species of animal on a rock, basically on the spiral arm of the Milky Way. But there's
And you talk about how Christians live
logic
their
tells us
life.
there's worlds everywhere.
I mean,
What's that?
you talk about how Christians live their life. I mean, think about that. Like if we're really just some smudge on a rock flying through space and there's other
Yeah,
ones like us, well then, we're
yeah.
easily
But it's
disposed
our
of.
smudge. It's our smudge.
I don't know though. Whose is it? Is it ours? I mean, I don't know.
It's not ours. It belongs to all of. It doesn't belong to anybody, but it's home to all the life forms,
Ooh,
not just humans.
almost got you there, but you seen it real quick. All right, Z.
Exactly.
You are
But for
a
some
ninja.
reason, like religion has steered people toward thinking that humans are separate from the rest of nature and that we're somehow unique in the universe and that there's no, you've heard this, that there's no life probably anywhere else, that the whole universe revolves around mankind on the planet Earth.
Seems like that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we have discovered a lot of Earth-like planets now,
You know,
which,
I wanted to ask
uh-huh,
you really quick because I gotta go. I gotta go, but I wanted to ask you, um, with like, oh man, what was it? Don't fail me now, brain. um, it was about animals, and
uh-huh.
why if evolution is true, then why do animals even serve a purpose at all? Like, why would they see a niche and need to fill it? Why wouldn't they just go and do whatever they want? What makes them think
Uh,
that it's their responsibility to take care of, like, buzzards, right? Like, what
They're
makes
just
it
trying to survive.
well, yeah, but, they serve a purpose, a good one. We need them.
Well, their purpose is just to survive, and whether we think they serve a purpose or not, you mean getting rid of the dead bodies and stuff like that?
Yeah, or just anything on Earth besides humans.
Right. I mean, they serve a purpose from a human perspective, but most importantly, from their own perspective, they found a niche in order to survive, and it's eating dead animals because there were a lot of dead animals to eat.
Oh, Big Bad Mama. Is Brett King
I don't know if that answers your question. I'm sorry, Logan. What did you say?
is Brett King a link to humans and manatees?
Brett has been putting these messages on his community page. They're just ridiculous.
What do you say?
Do you get these community posts from Brett and these polls?
Oh, from Brett.
Is that do you
He
see
just
him on
makes
your
it seem like he's so trod upon and he's such a victim. And the guy is totally egotistical, as far as I can tell.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nah.
I
What
don't
were
know
you going to say, Miss Iman?
the whole internet in the beginning days. I mean, think about it. He's literally famous for getting trolled all the time.
That's true. I mean, I'm not discounting, the time that he's put in or the fact that he used to have a larger following, but it's kind of like what has he become? And, I hear a lot of bashing on his channel of LGBT folks. And it's just like, have you learned anything from your time on the internet? Now, I don't I think that the drunken peasants, they were funny, but I don't really like those guys as people.
Yeah.
I think they did some cruel things to people. By reposting stuff, that was very personal for people, even though it was out there on the internet. But I just look at who Brett has become, and I just don't really, connect with that person at all.
Yeah, you know what I do love about Brett though is that all the stuff that people have said about him and he sticks to his guns, like he is still Brett. He's the same guy that he was, except for he's way better at his skill and stuff, but he's the same guy he was back then as he is right now. And,
He
he's
does have real skills in like video production and stuff,
yeah.
and he's got a good voice. But the guy has flip-flopped his position, a lot
Oh,
compared with some.
Yeah.
I just remember him with the Kent Hovind stuff. Sorry to bring that up, but
It's okay.
he was all over the map with that. And I think you both remember that.
yeah.
You know
One
what
week
though?
he's embracing him and, he's the best thing next to sliced bread. And then the next thing he's a predator. And
Well, you know what
it's
though?
like,
He
yeah,
had really smart atheists and people that would comment when he would go pro Kent that would connect with him, to where he was like, okay, I'm that's it. I don't like Kent anymore. And then he would have people like me with mile long comments to him about about why it's wrong, and then he would switch back again. Hey, I gotta go, guys. I'm sorry. I love
Okay.
you.
okay.
Love you.
See ya.
Bye.
Take care. Love you too.
Bye. Thank you for
Logan, you going to wrap it up?
thank you for coming on.
Okay, I just thought I'd pop on at the end here and just tell you good job and keep up the good work. You're doing good.
Oh, thank you. You guys like to debate Saturday? Well, not discuss.
I don't want to call it a debate, but
Yeah, this stuff.
We'll discuss some stuff on Saturday.
Okay. Yeah. What time would
Just
be
throw
good?
me just throw me a time.
Okay. What time would be good?
It's up to you. Afternoon?
Yeah. Whatever's good for you.
Yeah, afternoon, whatever works.
Yeah. Make sure a good time for you guys. Yeah. What are you going
Sounds good. I'm gonna take off, and then you give the outro for your show.
I don't
Take
have
care.
an outro.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Bye, Logan.
Bye. Have a good day.
You too.